Good morning. Welcome to Zoe's Treasures. My name's Tracy, and I'm here with my husband, Noel. He is in the background doing our cameras and our graphics, and maybe he'll pitch in and say something today. Hello, Millicent and Southern Charm and Gonzo. Good morning, Crow's Cottage. Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. I am so glad it's Friday, even though I have the upcoming next week, 2 weeks is going to be crazy, but I am very happy it's Friday. Good morning, Fair Maiden. I hope everybody's doing good, has some good, exciting plans for this weekend. Maybe some sourcing, maybe going doing something fun. We've got a few really cool topics to talk about today. But as always, in the morning, I like to do just basic housekeeping announcements. Good morning, Reclaimed. So, really quick, some announcements. Tonight, so on Friday nights, if you're not familiar, I also do a tax show. So I'm doing a tax show on Friday nights from here through the end of tax season. And it purely, I just get on. There's really no agenda. I have been working my way through a Schedule C. But if you know somebody on the opposite side of the country, so on the West Coast that wants to come ask tax questions, if you have friends, let them know. Good morning. I love discounts. So every Friday night, 6:30, I come on just to do like an hour of just purely answering tax questions, just talking about some tax topics, just during during tax season. Us in the business call this busy season. So that is tonight. No show this weekend. I have shows next week. I usually have a show on Saturday, but I am not having a show tomorrow because I will be in New Jersey this weekend. We're going down to Cape May for a cheer comp. So I will be there in the thick of a million cheerleaders and trying to keep my sanity for 2 days. So I don't know what my cameraman's doing. Good morning, White Oak. So no show tomorrow, but next Saturday is Glowy Glass. So a week from tomorrow, if you guys like stuff that glows, my Glowy Glass show is a week from tomorrow. I am already starting to load that show. So I've got about 10 or so things in there now, but I'm continuing to load that up throughout the course of the week. And then next week, you keep interrupting me there, mister. What's going on? Then next week, we're going to be doing remote. Most of all my shows next week are going to be done remotely. We're going to be, I don't know what he's doing this morning. Next week, I'm going to be in Dallas. So I'll be doing most of my shows from the hotel room next week. Those of you who've been around for a while have seen me do this multiple times. For my 9 to 5, I do travel quite a bit. So when I travel, I'll do all my talk shows, just get up early in the morning and do them from the hotel room. Or maybe if it's nice, I got to go scope it out. If we're in a nice location, maybe I can go find someplace pretty to do it from. Ledger to Leadership. That's the other one I wanted to talk about. I know, don't get locked out, and pre-plan for coffee. Yes, I have it. That's part of my normal checklist now. I know, Dallas, the food there. I'm looking forward to it. Well, I'm looking forward to it, but it's a conference where I don't know a lot of people, so I have to be super social and super networky. And so that's that gives me a little anxiety. I'll get through. I can do it. Ledger to Leadership, you guys. If you are a reseller or have reseller friends and have not attended, please try to bookmark the show or watch it on YouTube. Every Monday night, we do an accounting course for resellers. This coming up Monday, we are in week 2. We're going to be talking about debits and credits. Super exciting stuff, you guys. I think it's exciting, but debits to credits, we're working our way through. Every week kind of builds on the prior week because accounting is kind of one of those topics that they builds upon each other. That is all my announcements except for one. I was saving the best announcement for last. We have something new. Thank you so much, Gonzo. This week, we're getting more into actual accounting stuff. Last week was setting the stage more or less and talking about the accounting equation. This week, we're really jumping, head first into debits and credits. It's one of my favorite things to teach. I used to teach at the college level. So I used to teach accounting 101 type courses. And going over the debits and credits was always my favorite part of that class. So I'm really excited about Monday night. I had fun writing out all my notes. That's just something that I used to get so excited when I was teaching these, I say young adults, they're probably in their early 20s, late teens, accounting. And a lot of people, it's just not, you don't grow up learning about debits and credits, right? It's not something they normally teach in high school. So being able to do that and watching the light bulb go on was always one of my favorite things. I'm going to miss, I know Monday night, people who aren't familiar with debits and credits, that they'll have those light bulb moments, and I miss being able to see that on their face. You hated account. Oh, well, you would have loved my class. I always had a good class in college. All right. So we have a new product we're bringing you guys. It's only going to be available during our chat shows. I'm really excited about this new thing. It is called the Live Seller Link. And we're going to, as always, with anything we do, Noelle made a video for it. So check this out. I'm going to go ahead and unpin this. And then after the video runs, I will pin it. Let me unpin this so you can actually see your screen. And go ahead and play that video, honey.
Have you seen the new Live Seller Link card? It is amazing. All your social media, your website, your selling platforms in one card? How convenient.
Share your seller profile, social media, and contact info, all with one tap. All right, if you guys are interested in that, I'm going to pin it for a little while, and I'm going to take it off. That photo, okay, that was my wedding. That was my picture from our wedding. That was my wedding dress there. So this is Live Seller Link. We are selling these during our business shows. It looks like a little credit card. It's plastic. They come in white or black. You can pick which kind you like in the bin, and then they come pre-programmed to you. So they will come to you with your logo on there. We will pull the logo from whatever you have on Whatnot, or you can send us any customizable picture you want, and we will get it put onto the card for you. And the card comes pre-programmed with your socials. And when you get it, it comes with the website and a password. You change that password, and then everything on there is totally under your control. I love discounts. You are my guinea pig. We do have a few people that are guinea pigs and testing these out for us. So those are for sale if you're interested. They are really cool. Basically, how many times have you've been out in public sourcing or whatever, and somebody's been like, yo, what do? You have a conversation and you try explaining Whatnot. Try explaining Whatnot. Oh, this is what they look like. So this is mine, Zoe's Treasures, and this is Reselling Roundtable. So how many times have you tried explaining Whatnot and they're like, huh, what are you talking about? Well, now all they have to do is they have their phone. Oh, do it this way. All right, here, hold on. Let me shut my notes here. All right. We're going to show you this way, and I'm going to move it. I know, my love, I know. We're going to do this. So you get the card. You can see the card there. Now, I got to open my phone first. You just click on it. It pops up. And there's Zoe's Treasures, and it has Whatnot. You can click right on Whatnot. It'll take you right to the app, or it'll take you to whatever. So it opens right up to your app, or YouTube, Instagram. So you could put anything you want in here. Also your contact information. It's pretty cool. So those are in the bin if you are interested. We have those for sale. And cards not business cost for digital. Yes, business cards for the digital age. Baby, yes, that is the best way to describe it, Fair Maiden. That eBay? Imagine eBay and TikTok had a baby. Exactly, that is Whatnot. But there's been so many times people have asked me, and I'm trying to tell them, and then trying to get them to download the app, because that's the hurdle, right? They're like, oh, that sounds really cool. And they walk away and never do anything. Well, now it's right there. They don't have an excuse. So if you're interested, they're there. Start talking to, and you start talking them to show, oh, you just should start putting them into showing them. Yes. Okay, today we are going to talk about community over transactions. That is our business topic, and our tax topic is giveaways, discounts, and proper tax treatment. So once we purchase or receive a form, we can give you, no, actually you purchase it. Here, I'll let this is my husband's baby, so he can tell you all about it.
Once you make the purchase, all I need is a DM with your email address, and there will be some instructions that I'm gonna send you. And once it's done, we'll ship you the card, and it'll be pre-programmed with some of your social media, and you can customize it at will once you receive it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool because once you get the card, it's like linked to a website that you control. We don't have access to it. You just change password, then it removes any access that we have from setting it up. And then you could change as much as you want. If you have Facebook and then later on you're like, you know what, I don't want Facebook, you can take it off. If you put your phone number, change your emails, so you have total control over what shows up. We just do a search for your socials and just will link anything that we can find or that you tell us about. And after that, it's totally on you to do it, but it comes completely set up already for you. Okay, so let's talk about community. They're pretty cool. They are really cool. Community increases lifetime value. Kind of like Linktree. Yes, it's like a portable Linktree.
Absolutely. And if you already have Linktree and you'd rather have that instead, I can link it to your Linktree instead.
So think about where we originally kind of started looking at this for ourselves. And then we're like, well, this is really neat. Let's just bring this to everybody. And we're taking ours to the Seller Summit. So when we go to the Seller Summit in Austin in next month, 2 months, we're going to take ours. And then anybody we meet, it's nice and easy. They just click it and they can go right to our whatnot. So there's tons of uses for it. Here's another use you guys might not have thought about that I think is really cool. Any of you own a booth or have go do markets or anything? Thank you so much. We're trying to build an empire little by little. Any of you have like a booth or go to markets, like craft shows where you're selling your products? You could take one of those, put it in a cutesy little frame and say, click here to follow socials, and put it on a table or mount it in your booth somewhere. So all they have to do, if they're walking by and they're in your booth and they're like, oh, this is really neat, and they see that, all they have to do is tap it, and now they have all your socials from your booth versus putting a sign up where then they have to physically go and do it. So that's another use for it.
Found with Love Vintage. Well, initially the idea was just to produce one for her. And once I showed her what could be done, she said, well, we share this with everybody. So she put me to work.
Do you print it? That's really cool. Also printed my payment app. Yes. So you could put it takes a place of it like the old school QR codes. QR codes are now going to be old school because now we have live seller links. All right, so let's move on to our topic for the day. We have another kind of cool thing coming around the middle of the show. I'll show you, but let's do community increases lifetime value. So everybody on here talks about community, right? This is a social app. We always hear community, community, community. And I'm all for it. I totally here for the community. But my approach to this, while I love the social aspect of it, and I think that's important, thank you so much for your purchase from the bin. While I like the social aspect of it and like making friends, and I have made some great friends on here, it's something that I never expected to happen. My approach more is the business approach. How does the community help in your business? How can you further the community from a business perspective, not just the social? To me, there are two different things. The social is one, to absolutely participate in shows, talk to people, make friends, make connections. But then on the other side, when it comes to the business, how does that community affect your business? And what we're looking at here is how community increases the lifetime value of something. So if we think about static transactions, if we think about eBay, Poshmark, anything that's not live selling, that's a transaction. That is just one moment in time that you interact with that person. And then you cross your fingers and you say, I hope that they saw something they liked and they may come back to my eBay store. Thank you, Southern Charm. Now, so you hope that they come back to your eBay store or your Etsy store. But the chances of that are pretty slim. I've had on other sites maybe 1 or 2 repeat buyers. Not that often. It is very rare. But in Whatnot, we have that community. We're creating live selling. Any live selling platform creates that reoccurring income. It's like a real brick and mortar store where you go once, you enjoy it, so you continue to shop there. This is the advantage we have. So how do we utilize that, and what does that mean to us as a business? So when you're looking at the static listings, we all think, going to a static listing, going to eBay, and you're like, okay, as a reseller, we're thinking, what is this item going to sell for? We look at individual profit margin. When we're pricing something for eBay, we're doing 3 to 10 times the price of it minimum. because we know we have one shot only to get our money out of that item, and that's it. Well, it's different with live selling. It's not a per item thing. With live selling, anytime somebody comes into your room, you start thinking, what's this buyer worth to my business? What's this buyer, this potential person in my room, the new follower, worth to me as a business owner? And I'm not downgrading relationships. I'm just talking purely business perspective. But any new follower, any new person in your room, what is that person worth over 12 months, 24 months, 2 years down the road? You have a chance to create long-term revenue versus one quick hit revenue. So that helps us in our pricing, that helps us in our approach to business, and then it allows us to build that relationship. So we have to change our mindset from looking at a per transaction with somebody to a lifelong transaction or a long-term transaction. Think about your hairdresser. There's a lot of women on Whatnot, especially in vintage decor. I'm not ignoring all you men, but think about, and maybe men for you, it's a barber. Think about this. You don't just, Google hairdressers around me because you need one, figure out who's open, go pop in and get your hair cut. Usually you have somebody that you have built a relationship with that you go back to time and time again. Same thing with, maybe your masseuse, or I put some other, your handyman, hairdresser. So these are all people that you build a relationship with. That's how it is on Whatnot. We are looking not just for a one-time transaction, but building relationships with people that last a lifetime. So when you look at those people, you're not thinking, oh, they're going to buy one thing. So, they came in and they bought that fairy lamp from you. Wonderful, you made some money. But what are they going to buy next time? What are they going to buy 6 months down the road? Or if they didn't buy something, they came in your chat and they're just talking to you. Okay, that's wonderful. What's that value, a year down the road? It could be quite a bit. So changing how we look at it from a single transaction to more of a community minded, more of a long-term, like a lifetime value that person can bring to you is so different. So you may sell that $10 item today, but what if they come back next week? They come back, they engage in the chat, they're telling a friend, or they're buying towards your special, like when you're doing specialty shows. That's the community from a business perspective. That $10 buyer, that one $10 purchase could very well turn into a $1,000, $2,000 purchase over the course of time. I look for items for certain buyers now. I know what they want to make sure. Exactly. And that's the Found with Love Vintage. That's the point that we're getting at, that, they're going to come back and you're going to continue to offer things they want, and then they continue to buy. Whatnot is not just a one-time purchase. You may have those people that come one time. That's fine. But for the most part, we form a group that come over and over and over. And even if it's not every single show, let me tell you a story. I had, it was Ledger to Leadership last Monday night. I was going through, I sold some of the Ledger to Leadership books during the course. I say I sold, people purchased them because I was talking the whole time. People purchased them. And I went back through and I looked, and one of them came up a lot less money on my orders. And I'm like, well, why is that? Did I put it in wrong, or what was going on? It turns out it was somebody who used a coupon. This is a coupon code that I haven't given out for probably 8 months. This was somebody that was in my show at least 8 months ago, or if not more, who did something, and I gave them a coupon. They probably bought 1 or 2 things. I gave them a coupon, and they came back and used it 8 months later. That's lifetime value. In the Thrift Schoolhouse, yes, it was. I was trying not to call out names, but that's lifetime value. And I saw that, and I got really excited about it because I went to my husband. I'm like, look, it works. It does. Like, that's what happens. So we get too hung up a lot of times on nickel and diming things. We get too hung up. People, especially on Whatnot, are like, oh, I paid $5. I got to get 10 out of this. Way too hung up on pricing. And I don't really want to make this a whole discussion over pricing. We're not looking at the value in total. It's not all about what you're selling that item for all the time. Think about refunds. This is another hot topic on Whatnot, right? Should I give the refund? Should I accept the cancellation? Give the dang refund. Give the refund. What you're creating in that customer service is far more valuable than what you're giving away in the refund. Far more. I cannot tell you how many times. Our hens on the nest really just to get people in. Exactly. Yeah. I was very happy Oh, thank you. They're just close. I can't tell you how happy that made me. Like, I was so excited. So when we're looking at things, I hate when I see the words no refunds in the bio. I don't hate it because, look, we are a social media site, which creates trolls, creates the bad guys come in sometimes, right? We do have to do something to protect ourselves. There is a problem on Whatnot, and I'm squirreling a little bit. There is a problem on Whatnot that the auctions are so easy that new people coming in don't understand that when you bid, it is a binding contract. And most items in like vintage, storage, estate, certain of the categories are used items. So you're bidding as is, whether it's stated or not. And if you go to any other auction, a real life outside auction, physical auction, there's no returns. It's a standard common practice. I'm not against the concept of that. However, on Whatnot, we are allowed the opportunity to do returns and refunds. If Whatnot's not handling it for you, you're part of the beta customer service, you do it yourself. My point is, I have no refunds. Exactly. I prefer to have no refunds, but I don't think I've ever not given a refund in the normal course of business. There's been times I've requested something to be sent back and then the refund. If you don't send it, I don't give the refund. But the point is, giving the refund, and I'm not trying to convince you, you do business your way. I'm trying to make the point of thinking bigger. I'm going to give somebody back $10 and be out a few bucks in shipping, but that goodwill that created may have now just earned me $1,000 down the road. This is hard to quantify. It's a very hard thing to track and quantify. But I can tell you without a doubt, it does work. There's more value in things that you give away than that you realize that creates a future value coming back to you. And speaking of giveaways, I'm not a huge, speaking of those, I should do a few. I'm not a huge proponent on giveaways during my selling shows. My chat shows, I always do them. Giveaways are CEO cards, CEO affirmation cards, and vintage postcards. But do the giveaway. If that's in your budget, if that's your thing, do the giveaway. People are like, I'll do buyer's giveaway, but form fillers get in. So what? So what if a form filler gets in? You don't know if that form filler is somebody who can't afford to buy stuff but really likes you, and they want to see, they're just want to be part of what's going on in your show. You don't know that. Could they just be a jerk filling out a form to get something for free? Maybe, but you don't know that. The giveaways, I can't tell you how many times I've given something away, even something little like postcards or CEO affirmation cards, and people come back and buy afterwards. There is value in these things, and it's this intangible value of creating a relationship, a lifetime customer. Give something for free. How many shows do you go into where you see people giving away things for free? There's a business reason behind it. I've done multiple times free PDFs, free this or free that. One, it gives somebody a chance to see who you are and take a taste of what you have to offer, right? Maybe they bought a lot in the last show. Exactly. That's it. Exactly, Kimmy. I totally agree. So give things away for free when you can. I am not all about giveaway stuff at the detriment of your business. Not by no means. Done within reason, within your budget, absolutely. But like my PDFs, I've had people come in my show and say, how do I know your PDFs are any good? I've gotten burned before. And they weren't rude about it. They are legitimate questions because a lot of people sell information on this app, and some people don't do a very good job at it. So I'll have something, hey, I've got one for free, I'll send you. It's a full-fledged PDF. You could take a look and see if you like it, see how my writing style, see if that's something you like or not. So try it before you buy it. Those type of things create so much goodwill that you are now creating a customer that's going to come back over and over again. You do mini prints, yes, advertising. Moody, that is so true. Adding stuff to bundles. If you have a bundle, Jeremy at Green 13 is wonderful about this. You'll see if he sells something for $1, and which is very rare in his room that something goes for the $1, but he'll be like, oh, you got that for a steal. Not in a bad way. It's all very like friendly. You got that for a steal. Tell you what, if you're going to steal from me, you're going to rob from me. And he throws more into that $1 bundle to give to people. These are the type of things that maybe cost a little bit on the front end, but create a lifetime value that far exceeds that original cost coming back to you. And then every now and then, if you don't have the money to do things, if this isn't in your budget, because a lot of us starting out, sometimes that's not in our budgets. Thank you notes. Not every single person, because honestly, you will never as you grow, if you try to put a thank you note into 300 boxes a week, it's not humanly possible. But every now and then, writing a little DM message to somebody, writing a little note and dropping it in the box, or a random gift every now and then in a box goes a long, long way in helping to create this lifetime value of customers. So it builds a value. These are all future investment type things. So a couple of questions for the chat for you guys to answer. Can you, and you don't have to name them, but can you name your top 5 buyers? Do you know the names? If you right now, if you're able, can you think of the names of your top 5 buyers instantly? I love to see all the yeses, because you should be able to. You should be able to know who your top 5 people are pretty quickly in your head. Those are the people coming back. Those are your supporters. We always talk about our repeat buyers. This is the lifetime value. This is creating the relationships that are going to last. What would happen if you lost your best buyer tomorrow? What would happen? Would you be okay? All of us have that 1 or 2 people that you're like, man, they really help support my business. Just think about this. Think about how we appreciate these people. Think about what you're doing. Okay? And here's the last question. This is going to be the harder one. Do you know the percent of revenue generated by your repeat buyers? You would be amazed if you looked at a month of your income that came in, a month of your revenue, and you were able to go back, and you could. It takes a little bit of finagling with the whatnot numbers, and look at the amount of that. Say you made $10,000 in a month. I would be hard pressed to say that probably 70% of your revenue is probably coming from repeat people. 80, look at ShopLuck says 85. I may be low with 70. Trish, you got that first giveaway. Congratulations. Thanks for being here.
Congratulations.
So what is that telling you? Oh, it's absolutely possible. The 80-20 rule, yes. A lot of things follow the 80-20 rule. I know everybody's heard that rule before. So what is that telling you? These people have a lifetime value. These people have repeat value. They're not just people. These are relationships that you're building. This is what will help sustain your business. When a couple shows ago, we talked about what would happen if you didn't have sales for 30 days. Those customers are the ones that are going to sustain your business, because even if you're not selling something for 30 days, they're still there supporting you. They're still there coming back. Oh, can you make 10K in a month? It is absolutely possible, Moody. Okay, the second kind of key point under this is relationships create loyalty, right? We know that's not a new concept. Look, everybody knows I love me a good coupon. I am all 100% in, all about the coupons. I use them in a variety of ways, and I always try to be coming up with the next creative thing I can do with coupons. But loyalty is not built on discounts alone, okay? Coming from the person who loves coupons, loyalty is not built just because you have coupons, just because you have low prices. Right? We tend to think, well, if I get on and just do dollar starts, everybody will keep coming to my shows. Will people come in for dollar starts? Absolutely. Is there a high possibility that you're going to have a sellout show with the dollar starts? Good possibility. But just having low starts and discounts doesn't create that loyalty. It's built through recognition. Okay? You recognizing your buyers and your buyers recognizing you. Our thumbnails, our logos. So loyalty is built through being able to see the same thing over and over and over again. Consistency. This is huge, and we touch on it every week. I do not think there is one thing we could talk about on Whatnot that doesn't tie back to consistency. Consistency in your anchor show, consistency in your shows, consistency in starting on time, consistency in not canceling your shows. All of this matters. Showing up, being there. I'm going to show up for you. I'm showing up for my buyers, my supporters, so they show up for me. Consistency in the experience people are having in the show. All of that helps create that loyalty, okay? It's not just low prices and coupons and flash sales. The emotional experience that's going on, that creates loyalty. The more I'm talking to people in the chat and I'm calling them out by name, or I'm showing their profile, or I'm, recognizing them in some way, that creates a loyalty. And the same for your shows. It's not just at my shows, but that creates this. Look, we all as humans love to hear our names. Whether you're like, no, I don't want to be in the spotlight. Don't talk about me like that. Everybody loves to hear their names. There is some warm and fuzzy we get when somebody remembers us. Have you ever gone somewhere, maybe gone to a store that you haven't been to in a while, and you walk in and they're like, hi, Tracy. They call you by name and you're like, wow, they remembered me. It's amazing. It is such an amazing experience. You may not be like, oh, that's so cool. But inside you're like, oh, they remembered me, right? I had this happen to me the other day. The company I work for actually bought out a smaller company that I worked for 11 years ago. So we merged into this large company. That small little local company in Jacksonville, Florida, where I worked, I had worked with this lady. Her name is Jamie. And I worked with her. I hadn't seen her in 10 years. I knew she was still in this big company. She was part of the buyout. But she kind of went her way. And the company I work for is global now, so we're spread out all over. I hadn't seen this lady in 10 years. Out of the blue, I had to set up a phone call, and lo and behold, she was one of the people that I needed to invite. And I'm like, man, and I knew who she was. And I'm thinking in my head, I haven't seen her in so long. I'm sure she won't remember me. In the meantime, I've gotten married. I have a different last name, so she's probably not making the connection. I haven't talked to her. We get on face-to-face on Teams. The minute that Teams, it came up, she says, Tracy, oh my God, I didn't recognize the last name. Instantly. You know how good that made me feel? I'm like, wow, somebody from 10 years ago actually remembered who I was. It works the same on Whatnot. I welcome in a buyer and she became a huge repeat shopper. There you go. See, yes. That and what you order.
Good morning, Aaron.
Hello, Aaron. I am terrible about remembering the orders. I'm afraid I'm going to get them all mixed up. So I personally don't reference it just because I have a hard time remembering it. And I'm more afraid of making that mistake than I'd rather just I try to find other ways because I know that's not a strong point for me.
Oh, and I miss SS Vintage too. Hey, how you
Hello.
doing? Good morning.
So that and the shared identity. We have a connection when we have a shared identity. When I say shared identity is when we make connections as far as, oh, you live in Pennsylvania? I live in Pennsylvania. How cool is that? Whereabouts? Or you like bowling? I'm on a league. Did you know that? Wow, maybe someday we can go bowling together. Or whatever it is, having those connections makes you a real person. That makes people want to come back to your show, which creates this lifetime value. This is the community you're building as a business. Now, it sounds very social, and it is, but I'm going to say this throughout the whole show. I'm separating that personal part to the business part. Think about your coffee shops when you walk in, your mom and pop coffee shops that know your name, know your order, all that good stuff. That's what we're talking about here. It's a way of building that longevity in your business. So, and we've talked about this, but I had written the example down, like somebody comes in your room, and I think we've already said it, but you say something like, oh, hey, Mary, there you are. You know what? I grabbed some more blue and white stuff for you because I know you always buy that blue and white from me. So it's things like that. And I think, who was it? The Thrifted Schoolhouse said remembering their orders or remembering things they buy. So what does that do? That makes that person feel seen. If we feel seen, we feel emotionally good. We feel stable. We feel safe. We feel like we want to be there a little bit longer, right? How many times have you rated in to somebody and your intent was like, look, I got to go. I got to go get to work. I've got things to do. I'm going to raid, hang out for a minute and leave, right? But you raid in, and the person you raid into was like, and Aaron Sphere, the Aaron from the Aaron Sphere is wonderful about this. You raid in and they're like, oh my God, look who just raided me. And they're like getting all excited and they talk you up and they're telling people to follow you. And not just to like, thanks for the raid, go follow. They are like genuinely happy. And even if it's a fake happy, I don't know, they express this so well that you're like, I'll hang out for a while. I'll hang out for a bit. You know, I do it all the time. I'll go in to raid somebody and I'm off to my next task that needs to be done on my list. And then I'm like, oh no, I'm going to hang out. I want to hang out and talk to them for a bit. Thank you, Aaron. So what makes, just a quick question, how do you make your buyers feel welcome or your supporters? I don't like to call everybody buyers. They're supporters. What do you guys do? Throw some stuff in the chat. Give each other some ideas. What are you doing to help people feel welcome in your room besides saying, you know, hello, Bob, hello, Mary, whatever it is. If there's something you do that's unique or that's really cool, throw it in there. One, people may come follow you just because they want to check it out, but this is a cool place to share ideas like that. And we're going to start another giveaway because I put a bunch of them in there thinking I'm going to run them back to back and then I always forget. Yes, the Aaronsfield vibe is awesome. Giveaway free plush, Scuba Stevia. We're going to talk about giveaways too in a little bit here. And we're going to talk about the accounting side of it. But when someone buys the same thing, sort of thing over and over, I ask how long. I like that, Aeronsphere. I like that. Because now you're recognizing that, hey, you've been doing this. Tell me about yourself. We like to talk about ourselves. Everybody likes to talk about themselves. You know, if you're an introvert, this is the best tip somebody ever gave me, is just keep asking people questions. Almost anybody will talk and talk and talk and talk about themselves. Almost anybody. For first-time buyers, we run polls and ask them to join it. I like that, Gonzo. So you're engaging. You're getting that, like, what do you do? And then you're learning about them. They feel some ownership in things. All right. Let's move on to our next one. Engagement fuels momentum. And these are all the things that fuel that momentum, these engagement tools and techniques that we're talking about. Momentum in your shows is not just luck. Okay, people all the time, newbies, say, how do I get people to engage? How do I get them in the chat? How do I get them to stay? Well, what they're asking is, how do I get that momentum in my show? How do I get a chat that's scrolling and people are talking and people are bidding? And that's momentum. That's not luck. Momentum is completely engineered. It is completely engineered through your engagement. Momentum starts with you. Your chat isn't going to be moving. Your buyers aren't going to be bidding. Things aren't going to be going just based on I click start and maybe the stars aligned and everything's going to go today. No, you've got to engineer that. You as the seller have to create that. Yes, I try and it's crickets unless I have some of my regulars. So this is where you have to figure out ways to start increasing that engagement. What are we asking in the chat? What are we selling? What are we talking to them? And anytime you ask a question, answer yourself. So if you're asking, does anybody collect ironstone? And it's quiet. I collect ironstone. You know why? And you start talking about it, and then people are like, well, I do too, and she does. Well, maybe we have something in common. Maybe I can put, and then they start to feel comfortable to put something in chat. There's a million different ways. Go to ChatGPT and type in, give me open-ended. This is the key word here. Open-ended questions I can ask my chat when I am doing a specific type of show. So you kind of keep it in line with what you're doing. You don't want just questions. You don't want yes or no questions. You don't want people just putting YN. It's great if you're in the middle of other things and you're doing that. But if you really want to start some conversation, go ask ChatGPT to give you open-ended questions about a certain subject that you can do in a Whatnot show. ChatGPT will spit out 100 questions for you. Write some of them down, print it out, put it up on your screen, and every few minutes, ask a question, talk to people. It will happen. I've been learning about, can someone teach me? Yes, there it is. All those times. I've been learning about this. Can you tell me about this? I do that all the time with stuff. I'm not sure what this is. It's really beautiful. If you guys know what this is, please tell me. And I mean, it's not faking. If I don't know, I'm telling you I don't know. And there's somebody in that room. There's somebody smarter than you in that room all the time that's going to tell you, oh, that's a such and such, and it's used for this. Now you have a conversation going, right? Ask questions. And not just, where are you from? What state? Those are good. Those are good questions. But how many times have you heard, what state are you all in? What are you eating for dinner tonight? We all ask them and they're fine, but they get asked over and over and over again. So unless you have some really cool follow-up to what state are you in, maybe try to look up some other questions to ask. Now, if you ask what state you're in, and then you start talking about your cross-country trip, and you're like, Iowa, I went to Iowa and I saw the coolest haystack in Iowa. Let me tell you about it. And you can really start to create stories. And then they're like, wait, where was that in Iowa? I live over there. That creates conversation. But just be like, oh, that's cool. 10 of you live in Pennsylvania. So you see, you got to have a little bit of follow-up. I know the cool. I don't know what's in Iowa. I'm making stuff up on the fly here. And then there's things in every single state. As I Love Discount is red chatting me things that I cannot talk about live.
Come on, I Love Discounts. You love that sign that we have here in PA. And
oh
you
yeah,
wanted to go visit.
Come on. PA, have you guys ever seen? We have some of the best city names in PA. We have Intercourse, PA. There's a bunch of them. I can't think. There's a sign that has all of them. Millicent, you got that giveaway. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
A bunch of names that are very suggestive. Like we have towns with very suggestive names. Okay, so when the buyers are engaged, what happens? What happens when your buyers are in the chat, they're hanging out? Yeah, there's all kinds of good names. When the buyers are engaged, they watch longer. It's just like I just said a minute ago, when I go and I rate somebody, if they make a big deal and they make me feel like, oh, they know me, I'm going to stay a little bit longer. If I get tagged and I'm like not in the middle of a work meeting or some task or driving, if I get tagged and I see it, I usually will go into the show just because somebody's saying my name. It's that connection, and I'll watch for a while. I'm like, oh, who is this? Let me watch you for a while. Buyers watch longer. It increases that emotional investment in the show. The more emotional investment, the more chance they're coming back. The more they connect with you, the more chance they're coming back. They participate, and then they remember who you are. Okay, so a silent show is transactional. If nobody's in your chat, or not nobody's in your chat, but nobody's talking in your chat to the most part, all you're doing is creating transactions. You're like, okay, let's buy a pen now. Here you go. We're going to sell this pen. If it's just this kind of I don't want to say dead, but just this very quiet, nothing's happening, that's transactional. We want to move away from a transactional to relational. It's not about the selling will come. The selling is secondary. Okay? We come on here with a static mindset thinking, and we think this is all about selling. This isn't all about selling. This is about building your community within your business. Okay, what was my main title here? Let me go back. Community over transactions. You build the community, the transactions will follow. What's that movie? What's it? You build it, they will come. What was it? They built the ballpark out in the middle of nowhere. Field of Dreams, that's what it was. And they came and played ball, right? It's the same thing here. You build the community. That's the first part. Your engagement in your show is the main thing. Transactions are secondary. Finally did my first testing and felt like I talked too much. Oh yeah, Livy, it's amazing. I'm drained after a show. I have to like emotionally recharge because of the amount of words I use in a show. You don't realize it until you do it. I think every reseller could testify that they're surprised at the amount that they talk.
Live you.
Congratulations.
Your uncle was an extra in that movie. How cool is that? Do you watch it and you can pick him out? You can like see him? That's pretty cool. It is a classic movie, absolutely. It has so many good analogies and like life lessons and one all wrapped up in one movie that's actually fun to watch, right? Okay, so a silent show is transactional. This is part of the reason I don't understand the silent shows. I don't understand the shows where people just maybe put some music in the background and things are just going across the screen. Why waste your time? Why waste your time on whatnot with that? Just go to eBay and list your stuff. To me, it makes zero sense. An interactive show feels alive. So here's an example of something we can do. He was in the stands in one of the scenes. That is really cool. What city was I in? I think it was somewhere in Georgia. They filmed a movie one time. Frequently where we lived, and you would see like advertisements to try to go and be extras. I never did it, but I always thought that would be a cool thing.
Yes, I am the wizard.
He's a nice guy sometimes. No, he's a nice guy. He's a good guy.
For the most part.
For the most part.
Not all the time. But here I am. Good morning, everybody.
Oh, there he is. Look at that. There's my man. All right. During your shows, when you're selling, just think about different ways that you can encourage conversation without being like, hey, everybody, blah, 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 and asking a question. Think about like this. When you go to show a next item, instead of saying, okay, the next item is, our next up, instead of that, what about, hey, who here collects teapots? Put a heart in the chat if you collect teapots as you're about to show a teapot. Or you start talking about the history and maybe you're just giving a quick little story and this comes from England and some little town. Has anybody ever been to that town? I've always wanted to go to this town. And then if they say yes, you're like, tell me about it. What did it look like? Okay. So you can think of unique ways to engage. Games are a great one too. If you're like, look, asking all those questions just, makes me get all icky and I'm not sure what to say. Look up some games. Use ChatGPT. I am not a fan of ChatGPT for copy and paste. I am a fan of ChatGPT for ideas and thoughts and ways to organize. Go ask ChatGPT games you can play on Whatnot. What kind of games can I play in a Whatnot show when I'm selling vintage? See what it comes up with. I love discounts. You got that giveaway. Congratulations. See what it tells you. And then take that and maybe you can change it. Maybe you can alter it. Maybe you'll get some idea that you can pull a piece out of. It's rigged. So that's another way to encourage engagement.
Totally
There's
Southern charm.
so
Totally.
many ways that you can encourage this engagement, because you get that engagement going, then the sales will follow. Okay. So momentum builds the bidding. We already talked about all of that. We talked about what do you talk about in your chat. How about this? This is a good one, okay? Because a lot of people think, that's not me. That's not me. That's not who I am. Do you feel that engagement is a strategy or a personality trait? So 1, strategy, 2, personality trait. What do you guys think? I find it interesting. A lot of you guys think that they're both.
Good morning, B Square.
And there isn't a right or wrong answer to this. My view is that it's strategy. Engagement is so the question was, do you treat engagement as a strategy or a personality trait? So when you see something and you're like, oh, she's so engaging, do you synthesize that? Do you think about that? Wow, she has a really good strategy. She thought this through. Or she's engaging. Wow, that's who she is. So I take a completely different approach to this, because I am very much an introvert, and having to be able to talk and try to engage and do different things has been a skill that I'm working on and learning. So to me, it's not, my husband's telling me to shut up because he wants to do something. Let me finish my thought, honey, and then you can do your thing. To me, it's not about personality whatsoever. You can be the biggest introvert in the world and be engaging. It's strategy. It is knowing what to do and when to do it. It is creating a plan, going to ChatGPT, or sitting there thinking about your questions, thinking about, when I go from one item to the next item, what can I say to encourage people to talk in the chat? What kind of questions can I ask? What kind of statements can I make? What kind of polls can I use? What can I do when I'm running items to wake people up? It's strategy. You don't have to be this outspoken, bubbly, wonderful person to have an engaging chat. And proof of this, there you go. Fair made it. Love that. Engagement is strategy. Charisma is personality. Absolutely. Because there are people on here, and I love that. That is the best way to say it. There are very charismatic people on here that they could I've seen people sell a piece of lint because of they're so charismatic. But you also have people on here who are incredibly introverted, incredibly quiet, incredibly shy, that are still engaging. It's the approach to it. Once you start thinking about, my engagement is strategic, it's strategy, I can change my engagement level in my rooms. You could take all the personal, the introvert stuff out of it. You could take all of the I'm shy, I don't know how to do that out of it, and the engagement starts. All of us, every single one of us, have it in us to be engaging. It's not who you are, it's what you're doing. And you all can do it. I can do it. It takes practice. Is it going to be easy? Is it going to be comfortable? Sometimes no, not at all. But is it worth it in the end? 100%. All right. Let me do another giveaway. Okay. I tend to credit the personality, but for me, it would have to be strategy. Yes. And for those of us that are very introverted, are very shy, are very quiet normally, doesn't mean we have to be loud and jumping around and crying and being dramatic. We don't have to be all of that. But you could still come up with a strategy to be engaging, and your shows will improve because of it. All right. Buyers return when they feel seen. We talked about calling people by names, make them feel seen, makes them feel heard when they say something in the chat and you repeat it or you answer their question. So feeling seen is related to psychological currency. It's like money. Okay. When your buyers feel seen, that's psychological currency. This is something that we're exchanging with each other. When buyers feel recognized, appreciated, remembered, valued, these are all the things that we can create within our buyers. When I was a waitress, my strategy was to treat every customer like an old friend. And I bet your tips were crazy. I bet you got some of the best tips because it wasn't transactional. What a great analogy. I wish I would have thought about this. Thank you for bringing this up. What an awesome analogy. We've all been out at a restaurant and had a waiter or waitress. And we can totally tell the difference between a transactional waitress or waiter and a relational one. Just like Fair Mated says, if the relational ones treated you like old friends, the transactional ones were, can I take your order? Oh, okay. You want the steak? How do you want that done? Okay. Potatoes? Yep. You want sour cream? Okay. I'll be right out. They come by. Do you need your drinks refilled? Okay. Thank you. I hope you have a great day. Versus, hi, welcome to be here. Yeah. Oh, the steak's amazing. You're going to love it. How do you like that done? There is a difference between transactional and relational. Okay. So buyers return when they feel seen. Buyers attach emotionally to your brand. Oh, my husband's telling me he wants me, for all the new people coming in, I'm going to do one thing. So I'm going to divert for one quick second because my producer is telling me do this. So we have a new thing we're doing. It's called the Live Seller Link. So those of you who've already seen it, I apologize. You're going to watch it again. But y'all, we have a really cool business tool that you can share all of your contact information with people with one click. And let you see that quick video.
Have you seen the new Live Seller Link card? It is amazing. All your social media, your website, your selling platforms in one card? How convenient.
Share your seller profile, social media, and contact info, all with one tap. Thank you so much. Those are in the bin if you guys are interested in those. They're really cool. I'm going to go back to what I was talking about buyers return when they feel seen. We all like to say that we're creating relationships, right? We all, as sellers, we come in and we're like, yeah, I'm creating relationships. We like to think that. But what are we really doing? Are we really, if you go back and analyze your shows, are you transactional? Are you relational? Are you really building those relationships? So just think about it. You don't have to answer, but think about, what did I do in my show? How am I creating those relationships? Wait a minute. I had blonde hair for years. I went back natural, 3 years ago. So we are making those cards for sellers. So they will be customized with your logo and they will have all of your socials already pre-loaded onto the card. And then when you get it, you can change your socials. You can make edits and do whatever you need. They look like this. They come in vertical, or we also have horizontal. You can pick your design. So check the bin. They are in the bin. And again, they come preloaded. You'll get a website and a password. You just change that password and then you can change whatever is on the card. And we use your Whatnot logo unless you send us something else. If you want your kid's picture on there, think about this. This is not just for Whatnot. You can use this for so many other uses. Oh, it's okay, honey. So, hold on, wait. I have a show in a few minutes. How can I get later? Curated, they'll be in my marketplace. So, and they'll also be on tonight. You could just click on my name and then look at my marketplace. They'll be in there and you can buy them from there. Did you bring coffee? I beg your fight. That is, Aaron. You didn't know? It's here. This side, yeah. I do have tattoos. I have all on my back. So, and my leg. I have multiple tattoos. I just cover it up. People don't see it that often. So, Southern Charm, you got that giveaway. We are all in fam now. We are. Yeah, here I am like bearing my shoulder on Whatnot, but yeah, it goes all the way down my back. So, all right. That was this one on my wrist. This was my divorce tattoo. And then this was my, I've been divorced and my freedom tattoo. So they all have meaning. Okay. We're talking about creating the relationships with your buyers. Buyers return when they feel seen, when they feel heard, when they feel safe. They'll keep coming back. But be careful. Earlier I talked about, hold on, oops, wait a minute, I missed a question, let me see. I'm not a big storyteller, but I'm friendly and bubbly most of the time. I've been in sales my whole year, and so I hope you absolutely can do this, Trish. It's just about engaging. You don't have to be bubbly. Some of my favorite sellers are very mellow sellers. D Archivist is an example. I'm sure she has moments of being bubbly and stuff, but on a lot of her shows, she runs the Insomniac Club. She's not going to be yelling and screaming and jumping up and down at 3 a.m, right? She's chill. She hangs out with you. She talks in like this really cool, calming voice. She's not jumping all over and doing all this energetic stuff, but she's super engaging. She's asking questions. She's interacting in a way that makes you feel like you want to hang out with her. And I know, isn't she awesome? So you don't have to be the over the top. Now, there are the over the top people on here, and some people like that. You got to be you, but you could be you while still being engaging. Engagement, again, we're going to go back to engagement as strategy. Think of ways to be engaging and then implement them. Implement it piece by piece. If you're like, wow, this is a lot of ideas, this is a lot of stuff, try one thing at a time. Every show, try to do one new form of engagement. And it never stops. And just because you get to the point where you think, oh, I have people coming in, we're talking, we're chatting, I feel we're having engaging shows, I feel that we're creating these social connections within the business, don't ever stop. Don't ever rest. You always got to look for the next better way to keep doing what you're doing. It's a constant growth. It's never just this, oh, I got the engagement. Okay, cool. I can chill and just rest on my laurels. You may be able to like let off the gas pedal a little, but you always got to keep looking for new ways to engage. So earlier I talked about the value that when you give something away, or when you do the refund, or when you're, doing something free, a free PDF or whatever it is, that there's huge value in that creates value far greater than whatever it is that you're giving away. That's when you when you have good, exactly, when you see that little bit of momentum, you want to keep it going. I 100% agree. I am not one to back off of anything. I get we'll talk about backing off. I have a very good example that I'm going through something I'm struggling with on Whatnot. We'll talk about in a little bit. I'm very stubborn. Yes, that capazona. Yes, I am very stubborn. That's the word for it. I do want to caution about the free stuff. When you're doing something for free, it has to be from your heart. It cannot be in a I'm purely doing this to get more engagement. There are people on here that I watch that that the fakeness is easy to see through. So when you're doing something for free as part of your strategy, it still needs to come from your heart. It cannot be this, I'm going to give this to you, but while here I'm giving this to you, my hand's out over here for something more. You've got to make sure that it is authentic and true, because we're talking about here buyer's return, when they feel safe. That type of situation, everybody sees through instantly. And there are people on here that I see it constantly. They're like, I'm giving this to you. Look what I'm doing for you. I'm doing community for you. Bye, 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 bye. Or, it's a very fake kind of feel. So make sure that when you're doing it, it is coming from a good place in your heart. I'm sure I don't have to keep harping on that, but it's one of those things that I've seen so many times that it really irks me. So be sincere, no strings attached. When you give something away, you're giving away with no expectation. This is it. No expectation of return. It's no strings attached. If somebody comes and asks me, hey, I'm not sure if I'm going to like your PDFs. I've been burned before. Here, I have a free one I'll give to you with zero strings. You don't have to buy anything. I don't ever expect you to come back and do anything. If you're doing a community show and you're selling something like I do all the time, you'll also hear me constantly say, you don't have to buy this. If you choose to, it is available. It does help. It's not necessary. So you always have to make sure the no covert contracts. That's it. Thank you. Yes. So I'm not sure I'm not being very articulate with this point, but I think you guys understand what I'm saying. Givers never lack. At the end of the day, givers never lack. The more you give, the more you get in return. 100%. Again, I'm going to go back to saying, thank you very much, Fair Maiden. I want to go back to saying, anything I'm talking about, giving, being generous, needs to be done within the confines of what you can afford and what is within your budget. There are ways to do it very extravagantly, and there are ways to do it for free. So make sure that it is always within the confines of what you realistically can do in your business. never put yourself in a bad spot for it.
Congratulations, Trish.
Oh, did I miss a giveaway?
No.
Oh, what did I?
No, she's not paying attention to
I'm
the
not
chat.
paying attention. What did I miss? Tell me so I can say congratulations.
Well, you need to read the chat for that.
I'm reading. What did I miss? I'm looking. I was talking. My chat, it's not going up anymore. You're retiring. Well, that is amazing. Are you going to do Whatnot full time? Is that kind of like I'm going to keep busy and have fun doing Whatnot? Yes. All right. That is so cool. Y'all, now we have somebody new we can go and support. Okay. Community stabilizes your revenue. This is a point that I have made before. When you're doing all this stuff, you're making buyers feel seen, making your supporters feel heard. People are coming back. You're being a genuine, authentic person. You're doing what you can as far as to support them in ways where you don't expect any monetary return with that. That stabilizes your revenue. So I know it's weird to think, hey, I'm going to do something to give something away, or I'm going to accept refunds or returns. I'm doing something that's costing me money, helps to stabilize my revenue in the long run. It does work. It goes back to the basic concept in your personal life. The more you give, the more you receive. It's the same concept in business. A community-driven business is a resilient business. We've talked about a couple shows back. If you agree 1,000%, thank you, iFor Beauty. If you go 30 days without sales, if you've built your community, that won't hurt you. It won't. If you want to go on vacation, you're like, oh, what's going to happen if I don't have shows for 2 weeks because I want to go on vacation? If you have done the social aspect, if you've built your community, that's not going to matter. It's going to be okay because they're going to come back. They're not going to forget you in 2 weeks, right? When you're building the community, you don't depend on just another transaction. The whole transactions, the whole selling stuff becomes a secondary thing in your mind. You don't need, oh, I got to make another sale or else I can't, pay my rent this month. I got to make another sale for this. No, you just continue to show up. They show up and that happens. It's kind of mind-blowing in the way it works, but it really does work. Community creates your baseline stability. They return again and again and again. There is no way when you're transactional, when you're just focused on, okay, I'm going to sell something. I'm going to sell something here. For you to say, it's hit or miss. There's no way to say, well, I normally make X number of dollars a month. That's what I can expect. Because how do you know when it's transactional? It's a one-hit thing. When you create community, you're creating stable, reliable income over and over again. Now, is it going to be $1 million? Who knows? But it's still stable, reliable income. So your community are the ones that when the algorithm shifts, who knows what they do with that algorithm? Who knows? Whatnot's always doing funky things with it, right? When the algorithm may change and you're not at the top of the screen anymore, or maybe your people aren't getting notified from the bookmarks, they're still going to go looking for you because they know where to find you. Building the foundation, yes, it is. It's part of building that base there. They support you even with those times. We've all been there as resellers where we have gone through periods of, man, my inventory is just drained. I'm having a hard time sourcing. I'm just going through this kind of a dry spot here and trying to source. There is always, or maybe the items you're sourcing isn't of the highest quality that you want to deliver, or we all go through sourcing difficulties at one point or another. Your community won't care. Your community will still show up throughout all your ups and downs. Again, like going back to iFor Beauty, it builds that foundation. Think about it like this. I like to do my analogies. A gym membership. When you do, only sellers that are inherently social can truly understand the meaning. I wouldn't say inherently social. I think you can learn it. I think if you don't have it naturally, you can still learn it. We have a show every Saturday and try to have one during the week, but this week was a bust. Our regulars are waiting and will be there. They will. They'll come back on Saturday. They'll be waiting for you, and they'll be there even happier because they missed you. It's okay. I've said this in other shows. It's okay to leave people wanting more. Every now and then, it's okay not to have a show. I'm not having a show tomorrow. Do I think nobody's going to show up a week from tomorrow for my next Saturday show? They'll be there. And I don't say that in an arrogant or a rude way. I say that because we've spent 2 years building community. They'll be there. It's okay to leave people wanting a little bit more, to create a little anticipation, a little excitement. That's totally okay to do. Relational. Yes, it's all about that relationship.
Sissy Thrift, thank you for being here.
Thank you. Yes, thank you for being here. I can't do this without you guys. I have my community. If I don't show up, they start messaging. Danny Boo with a party of 11. Thank you so much.
Welcome in, Raiders. Glad you can join us on this business and tax discussion.
Let's take a quick break. Every time somebody raids us, we like to take a look at their profile to say thank you. So while my husband's pulling that up, welcome in everybody who came with Danny. My name is Tracy, and this is Zoe's Treasures. This is our business and tax talk show that we do every Friday. And there is Danny, Danny Boo 75, part-time Texas reseller. So let's scroll on down and see when the next show is. Every Friday. There we go. Every Friday. I love that it's right there in your bio. Tonight at 9 p.m., Women's Contemporary. Y'all, if you need some women's contemporary, now you know who you can go and check out. Thanks so much for bringing everybody over. Okay, I was about to make a point on, think of a gym membership. You pay for that membership, right? You're going to be there. Your money's coming out of your bank. It's creating a stable revenue because we're talking about community stabilizers revenue. So when there's a gym membership, the gyms have a stable revenue. Even if the people aren't showing up every single day, they're coming once a week, they're coming once a month, it creates a stable revenue. The same kind of goes for us. It's a little more, a little more social than that. But your people that do show up, even if it's once a month, once every other show, every show, whatever it is, that's that gym membership. That's creating that stability that eventually creates that stable revenue month after month after month. Not the best analogy, but I was stretching there, y'all. Hey, I was writing notes. It was late at night. All right. What are the signs for you as a seller, for you guys? What are the signs that tells you that you're building a community? How do you know when you start thinking about your business and you're like, yeah, I'm building a community. How do you know that? What is your judgment? What are you kind of thinking about? I'll give you a second. I'm going to take a sip of my thing. Give you a second to let me know what you think. You see the same people show up? Yep. Inside jokes. I love it. That is for sure a sign of community. Those inside jokes are the people red chatting you and it makes you blush when you're on the thing. When the buyers ask you to use their first name, you have moved beyond the Mr. Smith to Sally or to Sue. Love that. Aaronsville, I know nothing. Yes, you do. These are some great examples. Messages I receive from buyers telling me how special they felt when they opened your package. Doesn't that just give you all the warm and fuzzies like when you read those? That or reviews where you get a review that makes you feel all like, aw, So these are always, it's not just about, oh, people are buying. Not one person in the chat said, I know I'm building a community when people are buying. None of those answers had really anything to do with money. It had to do with how they felt, how people felt. I feel safe enough with you to use my first name. I'm not going to hide behind the fake name that I've put on Whatnot anymore. I want you to know the real me. That's huge. That tells me that what Liz likes has made people feel safe enough in their room to come out from behind that shield that we have here on social media and the internet, right? So none of those really had anything to do with money. They were all about how people felt. Okay. So to kind of wrap that up, community isn't buying, it's a people. Exactly. It is the people. I had a terrible flop of a show and my Whatnot friends stayed in the room anyways. Fair Maiden Designs, let me tell you, I said a minute ago I was going to talk about a struggle that I have. I'm going through that right now. I totally get it. And here's one of those things. I do not consider myself a big seller. I've gotten messages that I think sometimes some newer people think that. I don't feel that that's the case though. However, I've done pretty decent on my vintage and my talk shows. I feel I've got my footing. I'm happy where I'm at and I'm growing those businesses. We tried to get into jewelry. We're still doing jewelry. We're working our way into it. It has been one of the most difficult things we have ever experienced. And one of the things that we're going through right now and we're learning is maybe you're not good at everything. And it's hard to admit. It's hard to admit to ourselves when, you know what, I'm not good at this. I'm not good at doing a certain part of something. And it takes us to be more thoughtful and come out of our own minds to ask for help, to look around. We've decided, I have done 6 jewelry shows, I think, at this point. Not that they've been flops. There's been improvements on each one. But I am to the point where I realize that I am not a very good jewelry seller. Flat out. Yeah, you have to grow different. Well, and even I felt my community. I've spent 2 years building, a little over 2 years building a community. I could tell, yeah. See, Southern Charm just red chatted me. I could tell you got frustrated on Wednesday. It's coming through. So a lot of my people from my vintage, a lot of my community has come and been very supportive in my jewelry. Whether they buy jewelry or not, they've been there to support, which is why we build community, right? But in understanding ourselves and knowing what we can and can't do and where our own limitations are is huge in business. And asking for help isn't a bad thing. Knowing your strengths, knowing your weaknesses, to the point where our next jewelry show, we're not giving up. I'm too stubborn. I Love Discounts put in the chat earlier. That's my biggest trait, is I'm stubborn for the good or the bad of it. But so our next jewelry show, my husband's going to step in and he's going to sell, because selling the bird there, you got that giveaway. Congratulations. Because selling jewelry is not my strength.
Congratulations.
And it's taken 6 shows for me to realize it is not my strength. And that's okay. You have some ideas, please message me. I Love Discounts. Thank you so much, you guys. I appreciate all the encouragement. And I'm stubborn enough where I told them, I'm like, oh no, we're having private shows until I learn to do this. And I will learn to do it eventually. But in the meantime, in order to keep the shows going, he's going to try to sell. So, and I know I'm way off topic here, but this is the point in your reselling careers where building your community matters so much. Look at all the comments in the chat that are like, I'm going to message you some ideas. You're doing good. The encouragement. If we're not investing in each other, that's not going to happen. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. But kind of my diversion here was building that community helps you get through those times in business where maybe it's difficult.
Good morning, Gigi's Vintage Treasure.
Good morning. Jewelry is a different type of sales. And it is completely different. And and just from a business perspective, and my husband pointed this out to me yesterday, and I was not in the mood or the mind frame to tell him he was right, but I'm publicly admitting it. My love, you were right. Here we go. It's recorded.
I know, Southern Charm. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
So resellers want it for nothing. They do. But I am publicly admitting he was right. Yesterday when we were discussing this, I wasn't in the right mindset. But I'm so used to selling vintage in a certain manner that I've brought my mindset of vintage to jewelry. And
Good morning, Miss Leslie.
Good morning, Reworkers Passion. You can't sell jewelry in the same way you sell vintage. And while I'm thinking, oh no, I'm not doing that, it took him pointing it out after 6 shows saying, you're trying to apply the same concepts that you're successful with on one business and selling one type of product to another product, and it's not translating. And this is purely a business perspective. He wasn't attacking me. He wasn't saying I'm a bad person or I'm not doing it well enough. He was just saying, hey, these principles that you're using to sell vintage and display and show, not the business, but the way that you're showing it doesn't work with jewelry. We've got to rethink this.
Crazy old broad is just my morning voice.
It's his morning. He's like that all the time. Why do you think I married him? Like something drew me in, right? All right. That kind of wraps up our business part. We're going to go and start talking about some tax stuff here. We're going to talk about discounts, giveaways, refunds. How do we account for them? What's the tax implications? Just kind of some of that stuff. But before, as we go to close up the business side, a tangible shift is going to happen in your business when you start thinking, I'm not selling items, I'm building a room that people want to return to. Items are secondary. What you're doing is you're building an environment. That's number one. We come to Whatnot because we want to sell stuff. Selling is secondary. Building is first. Building this room, building the engagement, building the community that far is going to exceed anything else. And then the transactions will follow. They will flow, just like we said earlier, a field of dreams. It does happen. They will come. All right. Before we switch over to our tax topic, I've mentioned a couple times this week, the CEO challenge. This is coming, you guys. Let me play the video, or let Noelle play the video, and then I'll talk about it for a second.
Through weekly challenges. Building a business, not just the show. Welcome to the CEO Challenge.
All right, the CEO Challenge, building the business, not just the show. This is coming. I am conducting, this is part Ray Train, part reality TV, part business challenge. It's a little bit of everything. It's going to run through the whole month of April. And I am going to take the charge on this and lead this. I am partnering up with somebody, which I'll announce next week. And this is an application only thing. We're taking 6 sellers, as the video said. What is this? This is a challenge. And it's not a challenge against each other. It's a challenge against yourself. It's a challenge to start April and end April better than the way you started it. We're going to put out next Friday. Applications will be out. So come to the show next Friday. I'll tell you if you are interested, or you know somebody who's interested that wants to join this challenge. They can come next Friday. Sunshine Vintage Style. Congratulations. Thanks for being here.
Congratulations.
To get the application, because it is going to be an application process, because this is not going to be, oh, I'm just going to say I'm going to show up every day for 30 days. This is more than that. This isn't the challenge where we're showing up for 30 days. Sorry, I didn't believe Tracy and Noelle can do anything. Oh, thank you, Kelly. Oh, that's sweet. So the challenge is going to be every week, there'll be a new challenge that these 6 sellers have to go through that works with their business. We're going to start off with them picking a metric. They're going to have to improve a metric over the course of 30 days. Once a week, it's going to be on Tuesday evenings. We are going to have a challenge night. This is the reality TV side, where I'm going to kick it off, and it'll be like a raid train that lasts about 2.5 hours. We'll go raid into from seller to seller that are in this challenge, and they're either going to be talking about their challenge, what they're changing in their business, what they're doing, or they're going to be showing you physically through their sales the improvements and the changes and what's happening and how they're growing their businesses. This is not, I'm going to make $1 million this month. I'm going to be the next 6-figure seller. This is, I am building something in my business. The challenges are going to be different every single week. Sellers have to commit to those challenges, to doing the challenge night raid trains every Tuesday night. They have to commit to practicing during the week. We're going to be having private shows, myself and these sellers, where we're talking about these business concepts and how to implement them in their business. And then we're going to hopefully have all of you come along for the ride. So if you're not one of the 6, if you're like, wow, that sounds interesting, I really want to check these people out. I don't know if I'm up for being that transparent on a Whatnot show. I hope you're there. I hope you watch it. The Tuesday evenings are going to be like a reality show. It's going to be like watching somebody grow their business. So it's part raid train every Tuesday night for a couple of hours, part challenge. And for those of you at home who are like, how can I be a part of this? We're going to have the at-home version where you can download what the challenge is once a week, all free. There's no cost to this. You can download the challenge once a week, and you can do it on your own. You can be like, this is really cool. I'm going to practice doing this in my business. So stay tuned. More and more information is going to come out. It is a great opportunity for sellers. Thank you so much, Reworkers Passion. And there is no small seller, big seller, medium seller on this. This is open to everybody. The applications are going to be open. It's not like a job application. There's going to be a few questions, and it's going to outline kind of what the challenge entails and make sure that you can commit to that before being accepted. So that's what it's going to be. We're going to keep talking about this, and it is going to start the very first week of April. So you're going to be hearing about it. Oh, thank you so much, Extending Grace Shop. I'm super excited about this because this is totally new to Whatnot. Nobody else is doing a challenge like this. I'm not against the, have a show every day for 30 days. That's great. But I wanted to make sure anything I was doing ties to what I teach, ties to these Friday morning shows, and really helps people build a business. So when I say that the very first challenge, we already know what that one is. I actually know all of them, but the very first one is they have to pick a metric that they're going to measure. And each seller can pick a different metric. That can be average order value. And it's not measure, but it's measure and approve, because what you pay attention to changes. So maybe it's net profit, average order value, people in the room, number of return buyers, number of new buyers. It could be any metric, and we're going to watch them and watch their struggles and their successes throughout the month, and we're going to talk about it. So it's very interesting. It's very business-based. And I'm really excited about it. So there's also some fun twists in there too. We're going to have some voting. There's a website involved. So there's a lot going on with it. It's going to be very in-depth, but I'm looking forward to it. And it's going to be cool. It's going to be different. So if you're interested, come next Friday so you can hear about the application. Or if you know somebody who's interested, I've got a few DMs already with people saying, hey, this person would be great. I'm not going to go look for somebody, because this has to be something that you want personally. This has to be something that, like, I want to challenge myself to some real growth over this month. I want to challenge myself to implement some real different concepts that are sound, structured in business, that is going to change the way I do things. So that's what it is. That's coming. Okay. We are going to move on to our tax topic now. We've got about, I've got to be a little on time today because I've got a meeting with my boss. So we're going to talk about giveaways, discounts, and proper tax treatment. Exciting stuff, you guys. So a giveaway and a discount are not the same thing. You're like, yeah, Tracy, I know that. But they're not the same thing when we're in the eyes of the IRS, right? When we look at it as a seller, we're like, a giveaway, a discount, no, it's all money, right? It's all just something that I'm paying for in some way, shape, or form. But the IRS treats them differently. So a discount actually reduces your gross income. On your Schedule C, we're not going to bring up the Schedule Cs, I'm going to very high level. On your Schedule C, under income, it says income. The very next line says returns and allowances. That's your discounts. When I'm talking, who's going to win that? The Lost Ledger. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
When I'm talking discounts, it's flash sales, coupons, anything that when somebody does a return, all of that immediately is taken off of your income on your tax form. So there's a direct correlation right underneath it. It's income, discounts, okay? A giveaway, on the other hand, is an expense to your business. It's nowhere up there in the income section. It's way down there at the bottom in the expense section. A giveaway is an expense. It's not a reduction to income. So in the eyes of the IRS, they are two very different things, and we need to make sure that we're accounting for those things in different ways. Has anybody here, and I've done this, have you ever given something away and forgot to take it out of your inventory? And then maybe you're scrolling through your listings later on and you're like, oh shoot, I gave that away 3 weeks ago. Thank God nobody bought it. I've done it because it's easy to do, right? Everybody's like, no, I've never done that, Tracy. What are you talking about? Okay. On the flip side, me, thank you. Somebody agree with me. Don't make me feel terrible. Okay. On the other side, are you accounting for your discounts? I don't give it away. I decide to keep it. Yeah, me too. A lot of it just ends up back in the house. Lord help me with that.
She just gives it away to herself.
I do. I'm like, Tracy, you're so wonderful. Here's a new pen all the time. Okay. Are you accounting for your discounts? Are you actually in your books and records? Can you go and look right now and say, I have discounted this much merchandise. I know I have spent X number of dollars on my discounts. If not, you should be. We'll talk about why and how to do that. Here's another one. Do you know how much these discounts cost you compared to percent of revenue? These are expenses to you, right? Does reducing the price to move it count? No, it does not. That is just a price reduction. That is very different. That's a great question, though. Would it be interesting to know everything that you've discounted or given away as a percent of your revenue? They all represent a dollar figure, right? They all represent some type of monetary value. That monetary value compared to your revenue may be a shocking number. You may add up all the discounts, all the coupons you've given or that have been redeemed, not given out, but all the coupons that have been redeemed, all of the times that you've done flash sales, what was the original price to the final selling price, that discounted amount, all the refunds you've done. If you took all of that and added it up, you may be shocked that it could be upwards of 15 or, God forbid, 20% of your revenue coming in. That's a lot of money. It's going to make you rethink, I might need to be a little more strategic about what I'm doing here, because that's a big chunk of money. We tend to think free, even as the giver of something, and not connect that to the monetary side of it. Well, the IRS is like, we want to know about this, because if not, you're getting taxed on it. Okay. We need to know what these numbers are so we're not overpaying our taxes. I've just been logging giveaways in my spreadsheets to calculate the cost of goods. Yep, but zero sales price. Do I need to be logging them separately? Nope, because that's all it is. When you do a giveaway of inventory, you move it from inventory, and then it becomes a part of your cost of goods at whatever was the price that you originally bought that item for. So you were doing it exactly right. Millicent, thank you so much. And that is an expense. Yes. So discounts and returns, flash sales are what we consider. So anything falling under discounts. When you're doing a return, you're doing a coupon, you're doing a flash sale. When you're discounting the amount from original price, a listed price, and they're buying it at a discounted price, that goes under income. So it's income, and then you put your returns or your discounts, and it's subtracted for your tax return. Giveaways, when you're giving something away, when you run a giveaway in this side, I guess, in the room, that is an expense. So yes, Southern Charm, a giveaway is actually an expense. Flash sales, coupons, those are offsets to your income. So my 5K bottle of perfume, that I sold for $1 on flash sale can be deducted. Do you use the MRS? No, it cannot be. Well, you sold it on flash sale. It's deducted. The amount that you lost on there is the amount from what you purchased. If you bought it at 5K and you sold it for $1 on flash sale, yes, then it's a $4,999 discount. Because your $5,000 one, let me run this through my head again. Hold on. Let me run the accounting through my head. Oh, who just won that? Kelly? Is that Kelly? Hold on. Let me see. I only caught the first half of the name. Carly Designs. Thank you so much. You got that giveaway. Understood. So I just saw the very first part of the name. Okay. Let me run this accounting through my head. So if you sell a $5,000 bottle, I'm assuming $5,000 is MSRP. So how much did you pay for it? We're going to say you bought it for $1,000 in your inventory. So you buy it for $1,000. It's in your inventory. That's your asset. You sell it for $1. You move the inventory down, the expense down, so the $1,000 becomes your cost of goods sold. You're just moving it from inventory down to your cost of goods sold. The coupon amount, no, because it's only the amount if that was deducted from the original revenue. So let me pull back on flash sales. Let me restate that. I was mistakenly included flash sales. It's only the part that would be included in revenue. So a coupon, say you gave them a $100 coupon. They used a $100 coupon on that. Well, they couldn't. It'd only be a $1 coupon if they bought it for $1. But the coupon amount, because Whatnot's going to report the gross revenue, then Whatnot's going to say, oh, then they use this many coupons. Your 1099 is going to have that gross revenue. So when you report the gross revenue, then you back out the coupon amount. You would only do that on a flash sale if you also included the full price in your revenue and then backed out the discount. For a flash sale, you could just reduce the income side first without backing out the discount, and it nets to the same. All right. Sorry. No, ask questions, please, because it helps me think through things too. So, which category is accepting an offer on a bin item? When you accept an offer, accepting an offer is not considered a discount. That's just a lower sales price. There's a difference between a discount and a lower sales price. A discount, think coupons when you think discounts, because what's Whatnot going to report to you? Whatnot's going to report the total sale, then the coupon. So you have to report the total sale, then back out the coupon. So I'm doing my business a disservice when I throw something in a shipment for free without tracking it. Yes, you are. Prism House, yes, you are. You need to track that, because that's deductible on your return. We're going to talk about throwing stuff in for free and how fast it adds up. I'm going to give you an actual example. Thank you for admitting. No, this helps me think through the accounting sometimes. You'll see me. If you come Monday nights, we're going to talk about debits and credits. And here I'm closing my eyes doing this. I'm actually picturing T accounts and debits and credits. And that's what we're going to talk about Monday night. So I appreciate it because it makes me think. So buyer appreciation and what you're talking about is throwing something in a box for free. Like you're doing your packing and you're like, oh, I'm going to put some bookmarks. I'm going to put some little goodies in their boxes. That's buyer appreciation, right? That has to be tracked. So they're a nice touch. They create what we were talking about, that good buyer feeling. I'm not saying don't do them, but track them. So undocumented appreciation becomes messy bookkeeping. So you want to document that appreciation that you're showing to your buyers. I get super excited about numbers, sorry. So let's think about this, because what you're putting in those boxes. So those of us, and I do it occasionally, not every box, but you're packing things up and you're like, oh, I've got these little goodies I'm going to drop in the boxes. That's an expense to you. You had to buy those little goodies, more than likely. More than likely you bought them. Maybe sometimes you get some stuff for free, but let's assume you have to buy those goodies, right? That's an expense to your business. We always talk about two words when we talk about expense: necessary and ordinary. That could totally be necessary and ordinary, the little goodies, right? So it's an expense. There's a third word that I don't mention a whole lot when it comes to the IRS and expenses, and that's documented. So the fact that you're putting the goodies in there, that's an expense to your business, but only to the point that you have documented that expense. You've got to be able to back it up, right? You have to have your receipts. You've got to have a log. You've got to have something. So when we're talking about the things you put in there, it's just a receipt. The IRS doesn't care who you gave it to. You don't have to keep track of any of that. That's too much. It's a waste of time. But you do need to know how much the original item cost you and how much you're giving out. So if I bought a box of gadgets that I'm going to give out and I spent $40 on those gadgets and I have half a box left, I've given out 20. You don't have to count one for one, but you need to have a general idea. If you buy the goodies in bulk and then you can track the expense when you purchased it instead of having to track each one. Absolutely. Absolutely. Buy them in bulk and you just write it off. It's an expense. You should still always have some semblance. I mean, I can look and say, I've given out about $20 of this stuff, right? Yes. Thank you. So when you're sending thank you gifts, those extra free items, all those little surprises. So it's a business expense. But let's go through an actual example, because I wrote an example down because I don't want to just talk about, oh, you've got to record it, it's an expense. I want to make this a real number because this is shocking sometimes. If you add a $5 bonus item, something costs $5, and you can pick any number you want and do the math. If you do a $5 bonus item to 15 packages, how many people 15 packages is a pretty normal number? Yeah, I send out an average of 15 or more packages. A lot of people on what? Not 15 is not a super high number. Most people can relate to, yeah, over the course of a week, I send out about 15 packages, okay? If you add a $5 item to 15 packages, that's $75 of goodies leaving your house. That's still high. You'll get there. A $5 goodie into 15 boxes doesn't sound like a lot, but that's $75 of inventory. I'm going to go back to one of my very first questions. If you knew the whole number of all those goodies that you're giving away, all of the coupons that have been redeemed, and you took that number and compared it to your revenue, where would that be? What kind of percent are you looking at? This adds up really, really quick. So if you're not tracking it, guaranteed you're overpaying on your taxes because this is an expense to your business. So this is absolutely something you need to be tracking, because if you're not tracking it, you can't deduct it at the end of the day on your tax return. And now you're paying taxes on, not only did you give something away, now you get to pay federal income tax and self-employment tax on those items that you gave away. And nobody wants to do that. Okay? So your inventory is wrong, your profit is overstated, your books are inaccurate, and you're paying more taxes. Thank you for your purchase from the bin. Think about it like this. Imagine a restaurant and they give away free desserts for the whole month. So one whole month they're giving away free desserts. Every time you buy a meal, you get a free scoop of ice cream with some chocolate sauce on it. Okay? If they don't track that, their food cost is not correct, right? It's not accurate. Their food cost is all distorted because they've probably spent more on food because they're giving away stuff for free. But if they're not tracking what that free stuff is down here, they have no idea what their true cost of the food they sold is. Same for us. If we're giving away pieces of our inventory and we're not tracking that, we have no true cost of what our inventory relates to our revenue is. Man.
The happy bargain hunter, can you shoot us a DM with your email address, please.
Thank you, Auntie Barbie. So the more important question that we need to think about as sellers is, are you building loyalty and protecting your profit? There's nothing wrong. I am not against the giveies, the goodies in the box. I'm not against any of this. I am the biggest proponent of coupons that I think ever has been. But are you building loyalty and protecting your profit at the same time? Okay. You can do both. You have to do it in a thought out manner. Speaking of giveaways, let me do another one here. I do these giveaways and I have a set number that I do. I already know at the beginning of the week, at the beginning of the month, exactly how much my giveaways are going to cost me, without counting in a raid train requirement here or there. But weekly giveaways, if you ever watch, I aim for 20 on Fridays and 5 on Monday and 5 on Wednesday. They're all PWE giveaways. They are a postcard and a vintage postcard, CEO affirmation and postcard. I know what these cost me. I know what shipping is going to cost me. I can tell you at the beginning of the week what my expectation on my giveaways are. You should be able to do the same thing, not just on giveaways, but on things that you're putting in there. Why? Because that reduces my income that I'm taxed on. Okay. Free. We're going to go back to this word that I don't say enough of. Free does not mean not documented. So free is a marketing word. Free is advertising, marketing. It has nothing to do with accounting. There is no term free in accounting. There's no way to record free in accounting. The IRS doesn't recognize free, surprise, just because it was good vibes. What they recognize is revenue, expenses, assets, liability. So we need to take our marketing language and turn it into accounting language to save us on taxes. Thanks for breaking that down, because I'm probably sending out $40 per show that I haven't tracked. And I've done 4 shows. So it adds up. So think about that Prism House. This is exactly it. I'm glad that you're putting in the chat. This is the point I'm making. Let's just take my giveaways, for example, just because we're here, it's easy to calculate. So 20 giveaways on Friday. That's about 78 cents for shipping each. Let's just round it up, say that's $20 in shipping if I do all 20, right? Plus the cost of them, they're about $1 a piece each giveaway. So that's $2. Now I'm up to $40 on a Friday, $10 on a Monday, $10 on a Wednesday, $60 a week, because that fits into my budget. Okay? If you don't have a budget for marketing, for giveaways, if you don't know what that is, you can spend all this money at the end of the month, realize you just spent $200 on stuff, giving things away for free. And I go back to my question, are you building loyalty and protecting your profit at the same time? Okay? These things are not free. When it comes to your books, it's an asset, it's an expense, it's a liability, it's whatever it is. Inventory paid for in cash. So when you buy something at inventory paid for in cash, you should have some type of a logbook recorded in your accounting records, and keep some type of your accounting records should be more than enough. But like if you're doing garage sales or estate sales, keep some type of a logbook and you keep a log of it. The date, general description of what you bought and how much you bought it for. Location, sometimes I like location because to me it adds legitimacy, but it's probably not an absolute requirement. A $1 free item on 100 items adds up quickly, especially if they'll, exactly. And this is where I'm saying, if you sit down and just look at the last week of giveaways, if it's a typical week for you, say, hey, this is normally what I do in a week. Good morning, Basement Brats. Does the general description need to be itemized? No, it could be bulk. It could just be like vintage items for shows or something. Yeah, it doesn't have to be like each and every item. And now if you bought something extraordinarily big or like very excessive, that's out of the norm, I would put that down just because it would be out of the norm. So if you look back and just say the last week, if the last week was a typical week for you and you calculate how much all of those discounts cost, coupons that were redeemed, things you gave away in giveaways, add that up, including all the shipping it cost you. Now multiply that by 4 to get an average on how much that's costing a month. Okay. Take that number by the month, divide it by the month's revenue. That's going to give you a percent. What percentage of your revenue are you giving away to people? What is that? Keep the location to help document mileage. Absolutely. If you're not doing mileage, that is a wonderful idea to recreate your mileage records. Wonderful idea. So think about it like that. Not that any of these things are bad, But if you're just starting and you get this pressure to give things away, to do coupons, to do discounts, and you're like, okay, I'm going to do it, what is it really costing you? You want to build loyalty while protecting your profit, okay? They go hand in hand. Right? So anything that you give away, if it left your business, has to be recorded in your books. And this is IRS, word for word from the IRS. This is exactly what the IRS says. Businesses must keep sufficient records to support income and deductions. I never remembered to do mileage until I'm home, and it always seems too blurry to me. What can I do to count for mileage? This is what I do. You want to know what I do for mileage? To me, this is the simplest way. I have tried all of last year. I did an app, and I've tried a log. Millicent's got that giveaway. Thanks for being here. I've tried a logbook in my truck, and I've tried an app. Neither of those work for me. I'm going back to a method I've used for years and years that works. I have an Excel spreadsheet. You can do Google spreadsheets or whatever. I have an Excel spreadsheet, and I have at the top it says January, February, March. So I list the months across the top, and then I list 1 through 31 down the side for the days of the month. I know some months are 31, 1 through 31. And then once a week when I'm doing my bookkeeping, all I have to do is remember that week. I can look at my receipts. I can look at my calendar. I know where I went, and I'm like, oh, I went to the post office in Goodwill. I know how far those places are. Do Google Maps if you have to figure out the mileage. And so under January 8th, I put 20 miles. And once a week, I just update my mileage log. At the end of the year, I have all my mileage there. I don't have to worry about it. It's nice and easy. It ties back to everything that I've done. That's all you need to do. It doesn't have to be complicated. So you don't have to put starting and ending mileage. You need to track the miles that you drove for business purposes. Yes, you can always ask a question. Do you have a suggestion for an inventory program? Not necessarily any suggestion for an inventory program. I keep it simple. And that depends, Kimmy, if you want to track item by item or you're just tracking in total gross numbers. If you're just tracking in total gross numbers, I just do it on Excel because then there's only a few numbers that you have to maintain. I find it easier. I have used Vendoo in the past. Vendoo is a cross-listing app. It is not an inventory app. But when I was cross-listing, when I was listing like 90% of the things that I was selling, it worked very well for me to use because it does create reports on cost and such. And it's really easy to use as an inventory type app because it tracks when you bought something, you put it in there because you're about to list it, and then when you sold it. So it gave me both of the numbers I needed. So that could be a solution.
Yes, for the mileage is just from your place of business to the location. If you divert and you go somewhere else, that mileage doesn't count. If you have dry cleaning that you need to drop off and you go to the post office and the dry cleaning is 5 miles further down the road, those 5 miles don't count.
Correct. It's the miles driven for business purposes is what counts.
And they do count round trip. The only thing is that it has to be from business place of the location of your business to the destination. If you're going sourcing, or if you're going to the post office, or if you're going somewhere else that has any business ties to it.
Yeah. So the questions, you have to keep where you're going also. It's a good idea too. I don't do it on my spreadsheet. The reason why, the odds of being audited are pretty low. I'm not saying you'll never get audited, and we need to keep our documentation. We need to have all our ducks in a row in case we are audited, right? But between my mileage sheet, my calendar, and my receipts, if I were ever audited, I could totally recreate and prove that on that random Tuesday, I drove those 20 miles. It would be more than easy for me to do it. Would it be a pain in the neck to go back and do it? Probably, but the odds of me having to do it are so low that I'm willing to save myself time weekly and just put my total miles for the day, knowing I have all the other support if needed.
And yes, Miss Kelly, absolutely. Make sure your dry cleaners are on the way.
Yeah, if it's on the way, if my dry cleaner and my grocery store is between me and my thrift store, and I just happen to pull into that parking lot, that counts because it's on the way. Don't estimate. No, use your actual. So I know what post office I go to. So when I'm looking like, oh, last Tuesday I went to the post office and I went to the Goodwill and I know what Goodwill I went to, I'll do Google Maps. think about this though. You probably go to the same places a lot. You probably go to the same post office, the same antique stores. There's a lot of places you go to that are repetitive. Look it up one time on Google Maps, put a note at the bottom of your spreadsheet, the mileage for that place, and then you automatically know it. Now, if it's something odd, if you spent all day, you were out driving to all these various estate sales, and that's the only time you ever went to that neighborhood, then you may need to do a little more work on that. But this is why I do it weekly, because I can look back 7 days. I can know from 7 days. If I wait and do it at the end of the month or every 3 months, there's no way I'm going to remember everything. So you do need actual. But if you just think about a lot of places we go repetitive. So, oh, well, you're very welcome. Thank you guys for asking questions. So I was just going back to the IRS specifically says, I do. There is I don't offer mileage. I don't have one of those. I could probably make one, but there's an expense tracker in the bin right now. So I do have 2 spreadsheets in the bin, one for inventory, one for expenses. And who just got that?
Congratulations.
Swan and Thistle, congratulations. Thank you for being here. Thanks. Congratulations on that giveaway. We're going to run another one. So in the bin, I do have those 2 PDFs if you're interested. If you guys buy any PDFs, please just make sure you DM me. We do try to get those out as fast as we possibly can. DM your email address. That's what I need. DM me your email so I can get it to you. Actually, my husband gets it to you. That's his part of the business job. Okay. When you offer, so we go back to you have to keep, the IRS says you have to keep sufficient records to support your income and deductions. Not only does this include your giveaways, your coupons, all those things that reduce your income or considered an expense, that includes free and reduced shipping. Any shipping expenses you pay, because let's face it, free and reduced shipping is something you're giving away. You're absorbing the expense and giving something free in the form of shipping to your buyers. Once you scan your receipts into your tracking apps, do you have to track the physical receipts? Or again, the electric ones work just fine. The IRS accepts electric receipts. So, or your PDF copies or versions of them, the IRS will totally accept those. Especially now in this day and age, they're getting better and better about updating what they request and what they require. So when you're offering that free and reduced shipping, it's free to the customer, not free to you. Another mileage. If I'm grocery shopping and I get bubble wrap, does that mileage count? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Absolutely. Every time you go to Sam's Club, make sure you pick up a roll of that bubble wrap, 100%. That is very smart tax thinking. These aren't loopholes. These are using the tax laws that exist to the best of your ability. So anything we pay for customer shipping is viewed 100% extending grace. All of that reduced shipping, when you, at the end of the month, on the 4th of every month, Whatnot produces your monthly report. They always put it out on the 4th day of the month. So the 4th of March, just 2 days ago? What are we, 3 days ago? 2 days ago. They put out the report for February. If you go don't go right now, wait till after my show. After my show, go to your reports. It's in the finance section. There's a little drop down. You can do weekly, monthly, or annual reports. Pick monthly. Look at February's report. It's going to give you your gross revenue. It's going to tell you your coupons, your tips, and it's going to tell you your shipping expense. That should be recorded in your books as an expense to you. It'll tell you both of those numbers. It gives you 2 different shipping that you pay during a show and shipping you paid after the show. Okay.
Good morning, Abandoned Treasures.
Good
How
morning.
you guys doing?
How do we track our tips? They're just income. They'll be reported to you on your 1099. What I do is I have a revenue line for everything I sell and a revenue line for tips. So at the end of the year, I can see, wow, people blessed me with so much number of tips. It's just income. You just put it it's just like you sold something. No different. Those dollars are no different than dollars of something you sold. No. And you don't even have to separate them out if you don't want to. I separate them, and I think it's a good idea so that it doesn't skew your sales numbers. So I have a true account of what I sold versus a true account of what's tips. I like that detail, that level of detail. If you're not a person to analyze a lot of your numbers, you can have one revenue line that lumps everything together. I like to be able to break it down to analyze it more. So, have you guys ever labeled something as free? Have you done shipping and never recorded it? It's okay. It's a safe space. I've missed things. I hear a lot of people saying they donate their tips. Is that still considered income? Yes, it's income to you. 100%. The IRS can care less what you do with that money afterwards, but it's income. You got to make sure you record the income on it. So if you then take that money and you spend it on more inventory, then you record your inventory in your books. That becomes your cost of goods sold. If you go and buy stuff, you buy stuff. If you give it away as a donation, it doesn't go on your business return. It goes on your personal return. It will look like a red brick wall.
And that should be normal.
The spreadsheet that I purchased has a place for it. Yep. You'll get fair made and you're recording, and that's what's the most important, that you're keeping track. So if you have ever given away something and never recorded it, essentially what you have done is overpaid your taxes, because now you have an expense that you never recorded. So your income is overflated to the IRS. You've recorded the income. You didn't record the expense. So now you've paid more federal withholding and more self-employment tax than you need to. So we want to prevent that. That's why I'm making a big deal about it, is to prevent that. These are things that are very easily overlooked and missed. We don't think about these things because we have this concept of free in our heads. Swan and Thistle, it is your lucky day. Thank you so much for being here.
Congratulations.
So because we think about it free, it's just something that we miss frequently. I'm just as guilty as anybody else of missing some of this stuff. Our next point, because we're getting to our time here, is promotions affect profit and reporting. So promotions, huge, powerful business tool, okay? And I'm talking about any type of promotions you do, whether you promote buying somebody's sponsorship in a show that you're self-promoting, that's a promotion. Whatnot promotions, when you're doing that, these are all promotions, right? They promotions that you're doing as far as not just the word promotions, but promotions like coupons, your free shipping, reduced shipping. These are promotions. These are ways of you're promoting your business. You're offering something for free. You're trying to generate that goodwill, right? Promotions is a marketing, advertising type term. And that, all of that, everything rolled into that affects your taxes and your business. Everything affects your gross revenue, your net profit, the platform fees. So what you're doing is going to affect your platform fees and your inventory turnover. So we have to think about everything that goes out in the business sense of how is it hitting our bottom line? How are we overpaying taxes because of it? It's not just as resellers, we have all this activity going on in what we're doing in our business, but then you have that back end of making sure that all of your ducks are in a row. And it's very easy to say, oh, well, it was free shipping. It didn't cost anything, or, it doesn't hurt my net profit. I go back to the very beginning. If you calculate all that stuff you're giving away for free and compare it to your income, you are going to be shocked at that number. So all of these promotions, anything you're doing as a promotional tool, a discount, a giveaway, they need to be used strategically with the knowledge of the cost, okay? Don't hurt yourself to do this stuff. One of the big questions, myself, I love discounts. We've done free shipping a lot. We talk about it a lot. One of the things we always say is know your numbers before you do it. Know your numbers. Know what that expense is to you before you commit to it. Don't just do it and then hope it turns out okay. Know your numbers before you do it, because it is an actual expense and it hurts your bottom line. It reduces your profit margins. Our platform fees on Whatnot's reports. Yes, they are. Yep, all the fees that you pay Whatnot are on that monthly report also. I don't care for their weekly reports, Whatnot's weekly reports. They're a CSV file. You download it into Excel. I use the monthly reports. I do other analytics during the month on my own based on my show numbers, but I use their monthly reports. I think are pretty decent and easy to read. You originally included flash sales under the section called allowance. If we offer a flash sale, how does that end up getting documented? So yeah, and I then went back and retracted that. I shouldn't have said flash sales. I got carried away with my coupons and stuff, so I shouldn't have said flash sales. However, the way a flash sale is recorded, you offer something for $20, you flash sell it, and it ends up selling for $15. That $15 is what's reported to you. So you just put the $15 as part of your revenue. You don't worry about the rest. Now, alternatively, If you want to track the flash sales, you could put the whole $20 and then you back out the $5 discount. The net is going to be the same. What that is going to do, though, is because Whatnot's 1099 is not going to match up, you're going to have to be able to know that at the end of the year in order to reconcile your 1099. So totally okay to include the full cost of the item and then back out that discount. The net is going to be the same. But when you're reconciling to 1099, you have to be aware of that when you reconcile, because it's going to be off a little bit. And I'm sure there's other expenses that sellers don't always take into consider. Absolutely. Materials for shipping, all of that stuff. Yes, all of that are expenses that go out of the business. And actually, if you guys are interested in like line by line on a Schedule C of expenses, that happens to be my topic tonight. I'm going to be talking about that at 6:30 tonight. We pull up a Schedule C on the screen and I go line by line. We're only going to focus on the expense section for tonight. So we're going to go every single line. What does this mean? What's included in this line? What can you deduct? So if you can't come tonight, but that's still something of interest to you, it will be on YouTube at the same time at 6:30. So, okay. You should always have some type of monthly reconciliation between your gross and your net income. You should always know what your gross is and then reconcile all these fees, all these giveaways. It's not anything that I haven't been saying. If a transaction on my credit card is good as a receipt, if I do not. Okay, so the IRS will accept transactions on the credit card. Trish, you got that giveaway. Congratulations. Thank you for being here.
Congratulations.
The IRS will accept it. I do caution though, if it's the credit card and it says such and such antique store and you're a vintage decor seller, that makes sense, right? But if your receipt says Sam's Club because you bought bubble wrap, and so your receipt, you went to Sam's Club, you got bubble wrap, but your credit card just says Sam's Club. Sam's Club sells a lot of things that aren't business expenses. So if there's anything on that credit card that the IRS would question, keep the receipt as backup. Make sure you have that backup there. Anything odd, anything that could be questionable, you always want more supporting documentation. If it's clear as day, if it is USPS expense, that's pretty easy. That's self-explanatory in your business. Anything that would muddy the waters in any way, shape, or form, I would always have a backup receipts. Now, the other side to that is, I'm assuming that you have separate business and personal credit cards. So hopefully you wouldn't be buying any groceries or anything, and it would be really easy to substantiate all of your business use. Okay. Let's go. Our last tax point of the night: strategy prevents confusion later. So strategy prevents any confusion later on, kind of like what I was just talking about. We don't want it. Look, the odds of you being audited are probably very, very slim. I never want to do fear mongering like, oh, keep all this stuff because you're going to get audited. The odds of it are probably very slim. However, we live in a world where there is an IRS and they do audits. I can't tell you you're never going to get audited. As business owners, there's two sides to this. One, we need to be recording all of this so that we have accurate books and numbers to make proper business decisions from. It has nothing at all to do with tax, okay? The other side of it then we do that all year long. Then we do a tax return, which then we're reporting to somebody else. We're reporting to an official government body that has the ability to question us on what we did. They have the legal authority to do that. We need to make sure we're keeping our ducks in a row and the documentation to answer those questions should they ever occur. That's where it comes down to. I don't want it to be so afraid. Do this because you're in fear. Will your book be available for? Yes, it will. Absolutely. Usually on all my chat shows, I try to make it available. So strategy is your strategy, what you're doing now, is a guaranteed way, absolutely 100% guaranteed way to avoid stress for your taxes. Doing what you're supposed to be doing all year long, not only do you get the benefit of having this information to make really good business decisions from, you also avoid all of the stress that happens between now and April 15th. So it's a win-win. There's no downside to keeping your accounting. There's zero downside. And I'm not saying that just because I'm a CPA. You keep your records. It helps you with your business decisions, help you know where you've been, where you're going, what you should or shouldn't do. It helps with all of that stuff. and it reduces your stress at tax time, and kind of, I want to say, audit proofs you. By the term audit proof, I mean you have all of your documentation, you have your ducks in a row. So by some chance you get a letter from the IRS saying, hey, we're going to audit you, you don't go into panic mode. You go into, okay, this may be a hassle. I don't want to deal with this, but you know what? I got all my stuff. It's no big deal. Okay. And that's where we want to be. All right. You are very welcome. Thank you for being here. I appreciate that. So be strategic about it. We're talking about giveaways, promotions, discounts. Can you deduct the interest on the credit cards you used for the items you purchased? Yes, you can, only if that credit card is used solely for business. If you ever had a personal charge on there during the time period, I would not do it. You can get yourself in trouble. I mean, could we segregate it out? Probably, but it has to be, that has to be a business credit card. So when we're talking about all these promotions, giveaways, all this good stuff, set your boundaries, set your rules. Remember, we're protecting profit. We're building loyalty while we're protecting our profit. Set your rules. Track the stuff. Track your discounts. I challenge you. Do you have business credit card recommendations? I do not. I have a card that I use very infrequently. I am not a huge proponent of using credit. I think credit can be used strategically in certain ways for businesses, especially if you want to sell your business, do a public offering. There's techniques to use in that are legitimate. My personal belief, and this comes from years, and I'll be 100%, I'm gonna put myself out there. I was 20 something years old. I was married, bad marriage, spent a lot of money we shouldn't have spent, and ended up filing bankruptcy. Thank God. Kelly, this time it's Kelly Taylor. Congratulations for that, on that giveaway. Thank you for being here. And we did a lot of stupid financial decisions in my 20s. This is well before I became a CPA. I made really bad decisions, and me and my husband at the time, not my current husband, ex, we did file bankruptcy. I learned my lessons very early on. Blue Ocean GG, thank you for rating.
Welcome in, Raiders. Glad you can join us on this business and tax discussion.
And Blue Ocean GG, welcome in. My name's Tracy. This is Always Treasures. We are nearing the end of our accounting and tax talk show. I will get right to you, Gail. I see your question. One of the things we like to do when somebody raids us is take a quick look at their profile to say thank you for choosing me, for coming here and bringing all of your people over. Are you ready to bring that up? He's almost bringing it up. I'm going to answer this question really quick. Do you recommend any specific software for receipts? I do not. I will never recommend a software as a CPA. What I will recommend is to find what works for you. If you like software, if you're techie, do techie stuff. There's QuickBooks, Reseller Genie. There's probably a bunch of others. Those are the two most popular ones. But if you're pencil and paper, that's sufficient too. Do what you're going to do consistently, because you can have the best software, the best system. If you're not using it, it's useless. So I'm an Excel paper and pencil girl. I do a mix of mainly Excel, a little bit of analytics on pencil and paper. All right, bring that up. And there we go. Blue Ocean GG, thank you so much for bringing your people over. This is Miss Jamie. And let's scroll on down a little bit and see when Miss Jamie's next show is. Tomorrow night at 9 p.m. in the Knives. Oh, and Vintage Decor. So you sell a little bit of combination. Y'all, there you go. Now you know who to go to if that is your thing. Thank you so much. All right, so back to my story. I learned my lessons very early on. So I'm not a huge proponent of credit cards. I do have a few myself. I use them very strategically. I believe in paying them off. I don't believe in carrying a lot of credit debt, but that's my own personal decision. I'm not going to tell you that they're good or they're bad. Everybody has to decide where they fit into their business for themselves. That's just me. I'm disciplined when it comes to credit cards. They are merely a middleman for me to get money back. There you go. How you use them, like I know there's like the Dave Ramseys of the world who are going to tell you never use credit card, blah, blah, blah. Look, I have been through so much stuff in my life. There was a time that I couldn't buy groceries if I didn't have a credit card. My kids would have been hungry. And then there's times in my life where I have had 0 credit cards. I may have them. I never use them. Again, I filed bankruptcy in my early 20s. I didn't go to college till my 30s and become a CPA. And I've had a whole evolution with money and my viewpoints about money over the last 30 years. So that's just my opinion and how I choose to use them. So be strategic about it. Set promotions, track your discounts, log what you're doing on your inventory, like your giveaways. Make sure that that's part of your inventory. categorize all your marketing and advertising. When you go and look at this, when you're giving stuff away, when you're dropping things in those packages, you're doing giveaways on whatnot, make sure you have some type of line item in your accounting that you can easily accumulate and know what that number is. It's important to know what that number is in order to see, man, think about it like this. You have a pie, okay? This is your revenue, okay? Say it's $100 revenue. There's a slice of that pie that you use to pay for that inventory, right? Then there's a slice of the pie that is your giveaways. There's a slice of the pie that if you did any of the shipping. There's a slice of the pie that's your expenses. Whatever is left of that pie is your net profit at the end of the day. If you don't know what all those slices are, how can you change them to increase your slice of that net profit pie? Okay? You need to know what all those little slices are to truly understand what your net profit is. The only way to change, there's only two ways to make more money. I'm going to break this down really simply. At the end of the day, you want more money in your bank account, there's two ways to do it. Bring more money in, so sell more stuff, work harder, get a bigger paycheck, sell more stuff, one or the other. You're bringing money in, or you're reducing your expenses, you're reducing what goes out. That is the only two ways to have more money at the end of the day. It's super, super simple. You bring more in and you reduce what's going out, gives you more to keep at the end of the month. Now, the tricky part comes into how do I implement that? How do I reduce my business expenses appropriately without hurting the business or without, hurting my customers, without hurting this loyalty stuff? How do I bring more money in without increasing expenses? Because a lot of times increasing your sales means that there are direct correlation of expenses that increase with that. That's where the fun of it comes in. For me, that's where the strategy and the excitement comes in. And it's like this puzzle that I'm putting together to figure out how to get more money and reduce the expenses. Swan and Thistle, congratulations. We're going to do one more giveaway and then we're going to go for the day because I have a 9:30 meeting with my boss that I cannot miss. So at the end of the day, that's all there is to it. It's those two things. And it's really exciting. And honestly, even if you're not a numbers or an accounting person, it starts to become like this game that you play on what can I change? What can I tweak that's going to save me a little bit of money? I bought a bubble machine because I spend less on bubble wrap because of my bubble machine. I had an initial outlay that paid for itself within a couple of months, and now I've reduced my shipping expense just a little bit, but that margin I reduced my shipping expense increased the money I get to keep at the end of the month, right? Kelly Promotions, yes. So then finally, I'm talking about a bubble machine. I did a bubble wrap machine. I never say the wrap part. But bubbles just would be cool when I'm shipping, just to have some bubbles floating around. That would totally change the vibe in my shipping room, completely. And then reconcile monthly. You don't know anything. If you're not looking at your numbers and you're not reconciling, every single show you're going to tell me, keep your numbers, reconcile on monthly. You have a bubble machine too? A real bubble machine or the bubble wrap machine? Or both? A bubble machine would be kind of cool. All right.
Miss Leslie has one. Every time someone raids into her, she blows bubbles.
It makes bubble wrap. Yes, it does. It makes bubble wrap, Kelly. They are amazing. I actually own two. Now, I don't say that in a braggy way. I bought one, and it goes very slow. It works. It's sufficient, but it is extremely slow. And I like to use two different sizes of bubble wrap. So I felt very aggravated every time I'd have to switch out from one to the other. So I saved up some money and then I bought another one that just shoots out bubble wrap super fast, and I love it. Just soap bubbles for fun. Southern Charm has a bubble wrap machine. They are not a must-have purchase. I would not say, oh, you got to go out and buy this. I would prioritize a good scale and a thermal printer. But down the road, if you do fragile items, that is definitely something that helps improve shipping, in my opinion, but is not a necessity by any means. Can I share the one I like? Do you want to go? I've got about 3. We have 2 minutes left. Do you want to go right down? I don't know. Is there a model on there? I have 2 of them. Go see if you can find out what the... What? Do what? Oh, okay, here we go. We're going to do this. I'll go show them to you. Let me mirror my phone. Let me see if we can do this. I can take you back there. It's a mess though, y'all. I wasn't planning on showing my shipping area, so y'all got to give me some grace on my shipping area here. Let's see. Mirror my phone. Do I need to, what does it need to be? Does it need to be in camera mode?
No, just mirror the phone.
Just mirror the phone. All right. Well, I got to get my tech guy to talk me through this. And then open up my camera. Okay, so I'm mirroring the phone. And now I'm going to open up my camera. Do I need to be on video or just leave it on camera? Just like that?
Mirror it again.
Do I have to mirror again? Okay, it is mirrored. Studio. We're getting there. Can you see it?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Are we good? I'll try not to make you sick. All right, go ahead and switch.
Just go
Oh.
I'll switch it.
Okay, he's going to switch it when I get there so you don't get sick. All right,
So
go ahead and...
she's gonna switch it. I'm gonna switch it as soon as she gets there. So
Okay, I'm here. You can switch it. It is a mess, y'all. Please don't judge me on my mess. All right. So we have this one here. This is the fast guy. I use this size, makes this size bubbles. This is the fast guy. I don't know if it has a make on there. We'll try to turn it around and see. Let me see if I can get to the back of it. It does not have a make, but this is what it looks like. The bubble wrap sits on a thing there. It goes through a little warmer and it just shoots it out super, super fast. This is the other one I have. This is a slow guy. That one, there's the name of it right there. This works just as well. It's just slower. And I use that to make these big this is what I fill up boxes with. So those are the two bubble wrap machines. That's it. And we're going to back away so you don't see my mess. It is a mess back here. This is my shipping station. Y'all, here you go. This is where I do all my shipping. I've shown this before. I keep this all stable here so I can come in and start shipping immediately on the tablet. The TVs for entertainment purposes. We have a couple of printers down here. We do our printing, miscellaneous supplies. This is where we do our shipping. We do boxes, so I keep my boxes over here. I am in an unfinished part of my basement. I make the best use of what I can. Auntie Barbie, congratulations on that giveaway. Thank you so much
Congratulations.
for being here. And then this is Sam's Club. I love my Sam's bubble wrap. And then my assortment of boxes and junk. Inventory is back there. It's where I keep all my inventory. And then this is the rest of my shipping mess. So there you go, y'all. Now you've seen it. We'll walk slowly not to get you sick. This is my basement. My reselling basement with stuff everywhere. All right, there we go. Hopefully that helped. But bubble wrap machines are amazing. You like the little pink one? Yeah, that was just like a low-cost one on Amazon. It works wonderful. Again, I believe in efficiency. So I bought the little pink printer to begin with. Works perfectly well. I think it's like a $40 printer. It's not expensive. You're very welcome. Thanks for asking about it. And it worked great. And then I went and bought the Rollo because I don't like switching out my labels. So
You went out on a tour that was not planned.
that was not planned. Yeah, but it's a mess back there. So I'm organized, but I'm messy organized. That's me. It drives my husband crazy because he's has a military background and everything's perfect. I could tell you exactly where stuff is, but it's probably what pile that it's in. So, okay, we're going to wrap it up. So we've talked all about, I bought one and it won't format print small. Oh, yeah, that's sad. Mine worked pretty good. Rollo. Now again, a Rollo is not a necessity. That was a later purchase. I always start with something cheap. And then if I use it enough where I can justify the cost of buying an additional item, like the bubble machine or the printer, then I usually will upgrade on the second one to something better. But I have to buy the cheap one and justify the use before I buy something expensive.
Hotel Lobby, you might need to look and see some of the printers. If they're the newer versions that have the wireless, you have to set them up on your phone first in order for them to be taking in all the settings. I'm not sure. The pink one is like that. It's a little funky.
Between my two printers, between the cheap pink one and the Rollo, I can't tell a difference, except the Rollo's faster and connects to the internet easier for me. So also the way it opens. So the Rollo, the whole lid turns this way. It's easier to open. And the other printer is harder to put the stuff in. But as far as printing quality, I don't notice a difference for me at all.
How about Good Day Prism House of Fabric?
Yeah, have a good day, Prism. Thank you for being here. A Rollo is just a type of printer. It's a more expensive type of thermal printer. A lot of people will recommend them. Again, it was my second printer purchase. And what I do is I buy something cheap, I test it out. If I use it enough, I usually invest in a second one that's better for efficiency purposes. Okay, really quick, I just want to give you one last example under everything we've been talking about. My biggest suggestion when you're thinking about giveaways, promotions, all this stuff, is to create a monthly. I'm getting nervous for time. I know, I'll be there. I only got to run upstairs. I work from home, so I just have to run upstairs and turn on my computer really quick. Set a monthly budget for yourself. Know what you want to spend monthly on all these promotional type things. Free shipping, giveaways, dropping stuff in boxes. Know what you can afford. If you normally bring in $1,000 a month in revenue, you don't want to spend $400 of that on all these things, all these giveaways. And they add up really quickly, particularly when you're doing them in different manners. You're doing giveaways on Whatnot, you're dropping things in boxes, you're doing reduced shipping. These are all numbers coming from different places. And sometimes it's hard to wrap our head around that if we're not accounting for it properly. So set a budget. Just, hey, I'm going to do $100 a month of giveaways. Set something realistic in comparison to your income so that you're controlling what you're spending. Because if not, it adds up and you're going to be really shocked at where it is. So that's my biggest kind of piece of advice as we do that. We're going to wrap it up with at the very end. I just want you to think about when you're thinking about your structure, one of the things we need to, as business owners, it's good to be, we talked about community, building a community from a personal perspective and from a business perspective. And part of that was giving things away and doing, these community relationships. You need to move away from, I just want to bless someone, okay? There's nothing wrong with wanting to bless someone, but that is a personal, emotional approach. And we hear it frequently on Whatnot. We hear it frequently. Oh, I just wanted to bless this person. I'm just putting things in to bless people. That is such a sweet sentiment from you. There is nothing at all wrong. I applaud you for that. But that is a personal sentiment. That is not a business sentiment. Business is, I built this into my strategy. I have budgeted for this, and I'm doing this to increase loyalty while protecting my profit. So while it's wonderful to want to bless somebody, make sure it's being done in a way that's strategic and smart within your business. In your personal life, go and bless people nonstop and do it however. But even there, we think about, I would give my last dime, but are you really going to take your rent money and drop it in the red box at Christmas time when the people are ringing their bells? Are you going to pay your rent with it? We still have to take care of ourselves, right? You can't pour from an empty cup. That is the same concept in business. You can't give away what you're not earning. So just make sure you're being smart around it. With that, we are going to close. I always like to do our CEO affirmation of the week. And today is, I spend with intention, reasonable, documented expenses, support my business, and protect my profit. That is our closing statement, our CEO affirmation of the day. And y'all, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you for your questions. Again, we go back to engagement. This would not be any fun without you guys and without all the questions that you ask and just the comments and the tips and the advice that you give. So have a great, today's Friday, have a great weekend, and we will see you all soon. Let's go see who's on the raid. Let's go see. You want to go see Green 13 today? Let's go see Green 13.